Speaking the truth. I think it's more like nonsense. What are you trying to do by protecting a poor student who is dragging us down? Don't you know that he is already the shame of our school? Wu Zuehong angrily roared. Shame. I didn't think so. But some people are shouting and yelling. It is indeed a shame. Lu Qingmei calmly retorted. What do you mean? Wu Zuehong angrily said. If you don't understand, then I don't have the obligation to explain. Wu Zuehong said, birds of a feather flock together. This kind of person continuing to stay in the school is a waste of teaching resources. Just like some classes, he can only drag us down and bring shame to the school. These words were an undisguised provocation. Everyone understood that the class Wu Zuehong was talking about was the Hell class, Class 7. Lu Qingmei, as the head teacher of Class 7, naturally couldn't allow the other to slander them. She angrily said, Teacher Wu, is this something a teacher should say? Teacher Lu, you are talking to her about being a teacher. Aren't you making things difficult for her? She doesn't have any quality in this area. The silent Tang Jing finally opened his mouth. His words were shocking, causing everyone to be dumbstruck. Lu Qingmei was slightly startled. She didn't think that Tang Jing would speak up for her. Moreover, his words were so fierce. The corner of her mouth couldn't help but curve up into a faint smile. Wu Zuehong flew into a rage and angrily roared, Tang Jing, what did you say? What did I say? Did you not hear it? Tang Jing lightly asked. He had always been brooding about her. Moreover, she really didn't have the quality of a teacher. He was only speaking the truth. Go against the heavens, you actually dare to speak such arrogant words to insult me, you. In Wu Zuehong's mind, Tang Jing had always been an honest person, but today he actually made her unable to leave the stage. She felt flabbergasted and angry at the same time. Seeing the other teachers staring at the scene, she was so angry that she wanted to vomit blood. Go against the heavens, today I will teach you a lesson. Saying this, she threw herself at Tang Jing like a shrew. Tang Jing slid backwards to avoid this attack and coldly said, You are a teacher yet you attack a student for no reason. I just want to hit you. You shameless bastard. Wu Zuehong hooted. Tang Jing was furious. These words pierced his heart. If he wanted to knock her down, it would be as easy as flipping his hand. However, with so many people looking at him, he would be exposed and could very well be expelled. Although Wu Zuehong was extremely angry on the surface, she already had a plan in her heart. If she hit Tang Jing, then it would be to establish her prestige. If Tang Jing resisted, then it would be exactly what she wanted. She would then charge him with assaulting a teacher and expel him. In short, no matter how Tang Jing reacted, Wu Zuehong believed that she was in an invincible position. What are you doing? Lu Qingmei stood in front of Tang Jing, not yielding an inch as she confronted Wu Zuehong. Move aside. I am teaching a student a lesson. What does that have to do with you? Tang Jing is my student. Not just anyone can teach him a lesson. Lu Qingmei's face was cold as she argued. Tang Jing, don't even think about dodging. Wu Zuehong ruthlessly sent a slap over. This slap wasn't aimed at Tang Jing, but directly at Lu Qingmei's face. Wu Zuehong's heart was vicious. She wanted to use this opportunity to slap Lu Qingmei and make her lose all face. This would relieve the hatred in her heart. Wu Zuehong's attack was fast and ruthless. The other teachers had no way to block it. Lu Qingmei was caught off guard and also had no way to dodge. Seeing that Lu Qingmei was about to be slapped, Tang Jing couldn't just sit and watch. He casually grabbed a piece of chalk on the table and flicked it out like lightning. Paw! A loud slap rang out, causing people to feel a sharp pain in their teeth. This slap was really too ruthless. Many male teachers couldn't help but feel pain in their hearts. They wished that this slap had landed on their own faces instead of the delicate face of Lu Qingmei. After all, such a beautiful face was meant to be cherished. Suddenly, everyone was stunned. It was as if they had seen the most inconceivable magic. Lu Qingmei's face was as good as new, but half of Wu Zuihong's face was red and swollen. Wu Zuihong had slapped her own face. Everyone suddenly remembered the scene they had just seen. When her palm was about to hit Lu Qingmei, her arms suddenly bent and fiercely slapped Wu Zuihong's own face. Was Wu Zuihong crazy? Wu Zuihong was stunned. She looked at her own hand in a daze. The burning pain on her face made her constantly suck in cold air. Damn it, what happened just now? Why did she hit herself? Lu Qingmei was confused. She couldn't understand. She thought that Wu Zuihong must have gone crazy. It was better to keep a distance from a crazy person. She didn't hesitate to grab Tang Zhang's hand and quickly retreated. She said, "Tang Zhang, let's go." The two of them ignored the dumbfounded crowd in the office and walked out of the office in large strides. They came to the field. Lu Qingmei's hand was soft as if it had no bones. It was smooth and delicate like the highest quality jade. It was so beautiful that it shook people's soul. But Tang Zhang wasn't in the mood to appreciate this beauty, because a steady stream of pure yin energy was flowing from his palm to his whole body. "Ah, boy, you've hit the jackpot. Your teacher actually has a mysterious yin body. Moreover, she's still a virgin. She has accumulated more than 20 years of pure yin energy. It's simply top grade. It's even more pure yin energy than those two girls." Tian Chanzi shouted excitedly. Tang Jing also had a profound feeling. This pure yin energy was much stronger than Fang Shishir's and Yidingdang's. His Shin Qi was stimulated by the pure yin energy and was constantly rising. "Boy, you must pursue your teacher. Not only can you increase your cultivation, but you can also save your life. It's like killing two birds with one stone," Tian Chanzi urged. Tang Jing glanced at Lu Qingmei. Her beautiful appearance was enough to make any man's heart beat faster. Tang Zhang was no exception. Lu Qingmei let out a long breath. A faint fragrance entered Tang Zhang's nose. Tang Zhang's heart moved. Could this be the fragrance of a virgin? It was intoxicating. Lu Qingmei gently patted her chest. Her trembling peaks were about to burst out. She coldly said, "You really are an unreasonable madman." She suddenly discovered that there was no sound beside her. She turned her head in surprise and saw Tang Zhang looking at her in a daze. "What are you looking at?" Her face instantly sank. "I'm looking at you, teacher." Tang Zhang subconsciously blurted out. Lu Qingmei was slightly startled. She didn't think that Tang Zhang would be so bold and direct. She couldn't help but glare at him and said, "Be careful or I'll dig your eyes out." Tang Zhang was greatly embarrassed. He realized that he was too abrupt and hurriedly explained, "Teacher, I didn't mean it that way." Seeing his anxious appearance, Lu Qingmei thought that he was still a big boy. He wasn't as thick-skinned as other men. "Don't tell me you still want to hold my hand." Seeing him tightly holding her hand, she mischievously asked. Tang Zhang reluctantly let go of her hand and said, "Teacher, thank you for just now. I am your teacher. Of course I have the responsibility and obligation to protect you. It's just that Teacher Wu is too unreasonable. She actually hit me. She doesn't deserve to be a teacher." Tang Zhang indignantly said. "You have a conflict with her. In the future, you should avoid contact with her as much as possible. You are a student. After all, you are in a disadvantageous position," Lu Qingmei warned. Tang Zhang was indescribably moved. If all the teachers in the world were like Lu Qingmei, then there would be fewer conflicts between teachers and students. Chapter 14. Lu Qingmei looked at Tang Zheng and solemnly said, "Tang Zheng, I heard that you had a conflict with someone at the school gate yesterday. You will be taking the high school exam soon, so you need to focus on your studies. Even if you have any conflicts, you need to wait until after graduation. If others look down on you, you should use the high school exam to prove yourself. Do you understand?" Tang Zheng was suddenly startled as he thought that she would criticize him. He never thought that she would be so considerate towards him. Under her ice-cold appearance, there was a fiery heart. "Teacher, I will do my best in the exam. Please rest assured." Lu Qingmei nodded her head in satisfaction. "Although many unfortunate things have happened to you, you cannot give up. Only with hard work will there be hope. If those people come to find trouble with you, tell me, and I will go and reason with them. My students will not be bullied by outsiders." Tang Zheng stared at her in a daze. Her ice-cold face was filled with determination and confidence. His heart felt warm as he said, "Teacher, during the high school exam, I will definitely bring honor to our class." Seeing his confident expression, Lu Qingmei was a bit absent-minded, as if what he said was true. She blurted out, "I believe you. Go back to class. If there is anything, you can come find me." Tang Zheng returned to the classroom. Yi Dingdang glanced at him and asked, "What did the teacher call you to do?" "Proportion, nothing." "Hang, if you don't want to say, then forget it." Yi Dingdang rolled her eyes at him. She had already thought it through. Feng Yang's suggestion was not bad. Temporarily using Tang Zheng to block off those annoying flies, so she could not speak ill of Tang Zheng. Moreover, she was also very interested in Tang Zheng. How could his cultivation be higher than hers? This was too inconceivable. It must be known that the poor studied while the rich studied martial arts. The expenses of a martial arts practitioner were not small. They needed all kinds of medicine to train their body. How could Tang Zheng's family support this kind of consumption? In addition, martial arts practitioners needed the guidance of a master, or else they would be like a headless fly. Just who was his master? There must be a secret on him. I must dig it out. Yi Dingdang was determined. Tang Zheng studied while absorbing Yi Dingdang's purine energy. Half a day passed quickly. Today was Sunday. There were only half a day of classes and the afternoon was off. Tang Zheng left the school with his school bag and got on a bus. Yi Dingdang looked at him in surprise. Didn't he always run home? Did the sun rise from the west today? He actually changed to take the bus. Yi Dingdang stopped a car and chased after him. There must be something wrong. He must have gone to do some shady business. Do you think you can escape from my discerning eyes? Tang Zheng took 3 buses and finally arrived at the foot of Ordinary Balance Mountain. Looking at the towering mountain, he took a deep breath. Today, he came for the heaven-fragrant flower. This was the most important step in refining the life-continuing pill. The heaven-fragrant flower grew on the cliffs, and the Ordinary Balance Mountain was one of the most suitable places. Tang Zheng did not know whether the heaven-fragrant flower was on the mountain or not. Therefore, he could only check it out first. If it was not, he could only think of other ways. God bless me. I must find the heaven-fragrant flower. Tang Zheng said in a low voice. Brat, stop praying. 1,000 years ago, the heaven-fragrant flower was rare. Now that the spirit qi is thin, I cannot guarantee that the heaven-fragrant flower is on this mountain. Tian Chanzi said. Tang Zheng did not say anything and started to climb the mountain. The front of Ordinary Balance Mountain was a tourist attraction. Along the way, he met many tourists. His goal was the back of the mountain. The terrain of the back of the mountain was dangerous. There was also a cliff that was thousands of meters high. Because it was too dangerous, it was not open to the public. Tang Jing jumped over the fence and entered the boundary of the back of the mountain. Yi Ding-dang appeared in front of the fence. She looked at the direction where Tang Jing disappeared. What is he doing in the back of the mountain? Humph, don't think of escaping from my sight. She jumped over the fence and chased after him. Whoosh! A ghostly figure appeared in front of the fence and chased after him like a gust of wind. The back of the mountain was bumpy and deserted. Tang Jing carefully advanced. It was said that there were poisonous snakes and fierce beasts roaming around the back of the mountain. He could not be careless. Soon, he arrived at the edge of the cliff. Looking down, he could not see the end. It made him dizzy. Brat, the heaven-fragrant flower only grows in the cracks of the cliff. The flower is very small, fiery red, and very beautiful. Tian Chanzi introduced. Tang Jing leaned in front of the cliff. All he could see was the bare cliff. Only a few strands of grass swayed in the wind. He did not give up. He searched along the cliff bit by bit. Yi Ding-dang hid in the woods and looked at Tang Jing curiously. She wondered what he was looking for. However, she did not dare to rush over. She could only watch from afar. Whoosh! A piercing sound came from behind her head, causing Yi Ding-dang to be shocked. She immediately turned around only to find a cold, glinting sharp sword heading straight for her brain. She had goosebumps all over her body. She hurriedly ducked to avoid it. However, the sword moved very quickly. Poochie! The tip of the sword pierced her shoulder and blood splashed. She let out a blood-curdling scream and quickly retreated. Only then did she avoid being pierced by the sword. But he did not expect that the opponent's reaction would be so fast. He jumped back and all his efforts were for naught. Who are you? The killer suddenly turned around and stared at Tang Jing. Tang Jing asked, and who are you? Meddling in other people's business will only bring about your own destruction. The assassin coldly said, but in his heart he was shocked. Previously, he thought that Tang Jing was an ordinary person, but from his silent sneak attack just now, he could tell that the other was definitely not a mediocre person. However, he could not see through the other's cultivation, so there was only one possibility, and that was that the other's cultivation was higher than his. The killer was overwhelmed with shock. What kind of background did the opponent have? How could he have such a high cultivation? The killer did not know that he had made a mistake. Tang Jing was a cultivator and not a martial artist. A normal martial artist would not be able to see through a cultivator's cultivation. Yi Ding-dang's eyes lit up. She looked at Tang Jing. She thought that this bastard still had some conscience. He did not leave her in the lurch. Tang Jing, let's join hands and capture him. Yi Ding-dang loudly said. She believed that Tang Jing was a prenatal realm martial artist and that capturing the killer was more than enough. Tang Jing bitterly smiled. If only it was as easy as you said. Then he would not have to sneak attack. But he did not show any fear. He sternly said, okay. One from the front and one from the back attacked. Their attacks were as fast as wind and thunder. The killer roared and his sword flashed. He did not know the exact strength of Tang Jing and was rather afraid. He did not attack with great fanfare and instead adopted a defensive posture. Tang Jing's heaven-gathering hand covered the sky and earth. However, the killer's defense was also watertight. Even under the pincer attack of the two, he did not fall into a disadvantageous position. It must be known that besides the pressure point technique, Tang Jing's cultivation was much lower than the killer's. This was a chasm that was difficult to cross. As the battle grew more intense, the assassin's eyes grew brighter and brighter. Suddenly, he laughed out loud, haha, kid, you're actually bluffing. Although I don't know what method you use to hide your cultivation, I dare say that your cultivation is definitely not as high as mine. You dare to play tricks on me. Die. Chapter 15. The long sword pierced forward like a bolt of lightning, as graceful as a swan. Tang Jing did not retreat but instead advanced, using the heaven-gathering hand to protect his life gate, blocking the sharp sword. Stop! Yi Dingdang loudly shouted, her face becoming deathly pale. She already understood that Tang Jing was not the assassin's match, which meant that his martial arts had not reached the prenatal realm. He knew that he was not the assassin's match, but he still acted righteously without hesitation. Yi Dingdang felt a burst of warmth in her heart. Tang Jing, hurry up and leave, this is not your fault, I will hold him back. She quickly dodged, attacking the assassin's back. Tang Jing bitterly smiled, at this juncture, even if I am not the assassin's target, how can the assassin let me go? The two of them were already grasshoppers on the same rope, one's glory, one's loss, the other's loss. Tang Jing did not retreat, using the heaven-gathering hand to attacking from the front and back. The assassin was not the slightest bit afraid, opening and closing with a certain degree of tension. Brat, you have to let that little girl attract his attention, only then will you have the opportunity to use your pressure point technique. Tian Chanzi anxiously said. Tang Jing was well aware, but in this situation, it was too dangerous to let Yi Dingdang attract all the firepower by herself. In just a few moves, Yi Dingdang would be defeated, the assassin would not show any mercy. The assassin pushed Yi Dingdang step by step, forcing her to the edge of the cliff. If she took another step back, her body would be smashed to pieces. There's no chance. Tang Jing inwardly shouted, dashing forward without a care for his own safety. The assassin was stunned for a moment, he did not expect that Tang Jing would suddenly attack. But Yi Dingdang was already at the edge of the cliff, he was not willing to let go of this rare opportunity, his long sword piercing towards her. Yi Dingdang hurriedly dodged backwards. She missed a step and fell off the cliff. She screamed. Tang Zhang's eyes widened as he shouted for the assassin to be careful. He had already arrived in front of the assassin, but the assassin stabbed him with his sword. Pooh! Blood splattered from Tang Zhang's shoulder as his flesh was torn open. However, he still made his move without hesitation, his fingers gently brushing the assassin's body. The momentum of the sword came to an abrupt halt. Tang Zhang had sealed the assassin's acupoint. The assassin's eyes immediately revealed a look of disbelief, which quickly turned into horror. Tang Zhang brushed past him and rushed toward the cliff without hesitation. Grab my hand. Yi Dingdang hurriedly stretched out her hands, tightly grasping each other's hands. Tang Zhang's other hand grabbed onto a rock protruding from the edge of the cliff. Yi Dingdang's screams came to an abrupt end. She was still in shock as she seemed to have seen herself fall to pieces. Tang Zhang's hand was like a life-saving straw that pulled her back from the god of death. She raised her head and foolishly looked at him with a complicated gaze. Don't be afraid, I'll save you. Tang Zhang suddenly used his strength and pulled her up. The mountain wind whistled as Yi Dingdang stood at the edge of the cliff. Her face was pale and her legs were weak. If it wasn't for Tang Jing saving her, she would have died. Thank you. She stared at him and sincerely said. Tang Jing stared at her and asked, were you following me? Yi Dingdang subconsciously lowered her head and weakly denied, who said I was following you? I only came up the mountain to look at the scenery. Besides, why did you come to ordinary Balance Mountain? Tang Jing coldly laughed. He had secrets on him that he did not want others to find out. Yi Dingdang's actions of following him made him very disgusted. Me coming to ordinary Balance Mountain has nothing to do with you. Yi Dingdang rolled her eyes, then I also have nothing to do with you. Tang Jing did not want to waste words with her. He looked at the assassin and said, you should worry about him. Why does he want to kill you? How would I know? Yi Ding-dang had a stomach full of anger. This assassin must have planned this for a long time. Just who was it that wanted to kill her? Who sent you? Yi Ding-dang walked over and snatched the assassin's sword and placed it against his neck. The assassin did not speak. He only looked at Tang Jing with a complicated expression and said, "You are clearly not a prenatal martial artist. How can you know the pressure point technique? You do not have the qualifications to know." Tang Jing coldly swept his eyes over him. Yi Ding-dang also stared at Tang Jing with wide eyes. She also had the same question. But if Tang Jing did not say anything, she could not do anything. Moreover, now was not the time to be entangled with this question. But when she saw the wound and blood on Tang Jing's shoulder, she quickly said, "You're injured." Tang Jing lowered his head to look. His nerves were tense before, so it did not hurt. Now that the stinging pain attacked him, he clenched his teeth. He glanced at Yi Ding-dang and said, "Aren't you also injured?" "Ah, it hurts like hell." Yi Ding-dang finally felt the pain and jumped up with a shout. She was just like a kangaroo jumping around, making her look extremely comical. Tang Jing could not help but laugh. Yi Ding-dang's charming face turned red. She fiercely said, "You're not allowed to laugh." "What does my laughter have to do with you?" "Humph, if I say you're not allowed to laugh, then you're not allowed to laugh. Stop messing around." Tang Jing sternly reprimanded, "My pressure point technique can only last for 5 minutes. He will be able to move again soon." Yi Ding-dang turned pale with fright. She immediately placed her sword against the assassin's neck. "You're not allowed to move. My sword does not have eyes." At this time, the pressure point technique lost its effect. The assassin regained his freedom but was powerless. He fiercely stared at Yi Ding-dang and said, "Do you dare to kill me? I bet you don't even dare to kill a chicken." As he said this, he actually walked towards Yi Ding-dang. Yi Ding-dang turned pale with fright. Although she was a 4th-grade refining body martial artist, she had never even killed a chicken before, let alone a person. When the assassin moved, she subconsciously retreated. Tang Jing cursed. He bravely stepped forward and seized the sword. The sword's edge intimately touched the assassin's neck. "She doesn't dare to kill you. Why don't you try and see if I dare to kill you?" Tang Zhang's killing intent soared. This time, he finally had the time to look for the heaven-fragrant flower but was disturbed by the assassin. This delayed the treatment of his grandfather. How could he not be angry? The assassin's gaze changed as he looked at Tang Jing. This person gave him too many shocks and he could not see through him. Moreover, Tang Zhang's aura was clearly stronger than Yi Ding-dang's. This made the assassin not dare to lower his guard. "Hang, you're also a little brat. Do you really dare to kill me?" The assassin provoked. "Little brat, he's deliberately stalling for time. He's looking for an opening in your escape. You must not let him succeed." Tian Chanzi reminded. "Relax, I understand." Tang Jing did not speak any nonsense. He raised his hand and the sword fell. A wound appeared on the assassin's neck and fresh blood flowed out. Yi Ding-dang screamed in fright. She looked at Tang Jing as if he was an alien. That decisive aura of killing deeply shocked her. Tang Jing was not a bloodthirsty person. It was just that he had been accumulating a lot of anger for the past few months. In addition, he had a resolute side to him. That was why he was so decisive. The assassin did not dare to move. This little brat was not like that little girl. If he provoked him, he would be the one to suffer. "Yi Ding-dang, hurry up and call your family," Tang Jing ordered. He guessed that the Ya family's power was definitely not ordinary. He had suffered an undeserved calamity in this matter. He still needed the Ya family's help to deal with the aftermath. Yi Dingdang felt as if she had woken up from a dream. She immediately contacted her family. From the phone, one could vaguely hear that the other side of the phone was very angry. "My family will be here in a while." Tang Jing nodded. To be honest, he really wanted to leave. Time was too precious for him. He still had to find the heaven-fragrant flower. But if he left, Yi Dingdang would not be able to control the assassin. The assassin's eyes wandered. He was looking for a way to escape. But when he saw Tang Zheng's resolute eyes, he gave up. Half an hour later, the roar of a helicopter came from afar. Soon, it was hovering overhead. The airflow stirred by the propellers was so strong that Tang Jing subconsciously squinted his eyes. The assassin's eyes lit up. He took the opportunity to dodge. He left the sword and quickly fled into the woods. Tang Jing was shocked. This assassin was too cunning. He shouted, "Stop!" The assassin's speed was faster than his. In the blink of an eye, he had crossed more than 10 meters. It was too late for Tang Jing to catch up. "Where do you think you're going?" Suddenly, a thunderous roar resounded in the air, causing Tang Jing's eardrums to hurt. He subconsciously raised his head to look, only to see a tall figure jump down from the helicopter. The height of more than 10 meters was like flat ground beneath his feet, as if he was a god descending from the heavens. The assassin looked back and ran even faster. But that person was even faster than him. In a flash, he landed heavily on the ground. The ground seemed to shake, and a large amount of dust flew up. The assassin roared, "Get out of the way!" He moved like lightning. But that person did not move. He was like a boulder blocking his path. Bang! One punch, a simple punch. Fast, too fast. Tang Jing felt a blur in front of his eyes. That fist flew out and the assassin flew out like a kite with a broken string. Before he landed, that person had already reached the place where the assassin landed. 5 fingers stretched out and firmly grabbed the assassin. One move to win. This person's strength was too strong. He was like a fierce tiger. No, he was even stronger than a fierce tiger. Even if Tang Jing had the pressure point technique, he was definitely not his opponent. Only a 9th grade natal stage cultivator. Tian Chanzi said disdainfully. 9th grade natal stage cultivator, only. Tang Jing swallowed his saliva with difficulty. He was already unable to communicate with Tian Chanzi normally. "Brat, don't be so shocked. If it was before, he wouldn't even be fit to carry my shoes." Tian Chanzi said arrogantly. "A real man doesn't talk about his past achievements. Do you know that? Right now, you are just a strand of divine sense." Tian Chanzi was shocked. He did not speak. The helicopter landed and several black-clothed people hurriedly got off. They surrounded that person as if they were facing a great enemy. They vigilantly looked around. "Dad, you're finally here." Yi Dingdang ran towards that person and threw herself into his arms. This person had thick eyebrows and big eyes. He was tall, but not fierce. He looked like a typical middle-aged uncle. When he was young, he must have been a handsome young master. "Dingdang, you're injured." He looked at the wound on his daughter's shoulder. His face became increasingly gloomy. "I'm fine." Yi Dingdang had already adapted to the pain. She forced out a smile. "What the hell is going on? This person wanted to kill me." "Fortunately, your daughter was powerful. With the help of classmate Tang Jing, we were able to capture him." Yi Dingdang said casually. "Tang Jing." His pupils constricted as he subconsciously looked towards Tang Jing. His gaze was like lightning as it landed on Tang Jing, causing him to involuntarily feel a sense of oppression. Tang Jing was disgusted. From the other's gaze, he could see too many profound things. Since Yi Dingdang was already safe, then there was no need for him to continue to stay here. Thus, he said, "Yi Dingdang, I'll be leaving first." He then walked down the mountain in large strides. Chapter 16. Tang Zheng was stopped by the men in black. Several of them had their hands on their waists and were glaring at him like a tiger watching its prey. "What do you mean?" Tang Zheng angrily asked. The other party had weapons on them. Yi Dingdang was shocked and hurriedly explained, "Dad, this is my classmate. He was the one who saved me." Yi Tianlei walked over. His sharp eyes were filled with surprise. This person looked like an ordinary person. There was no inner strength flowing around him, but his aura was clearly not that of an ordinary person. What was his identity? Was he related to this assassination? He temporarily suppressed his doubts and calmly said, "Classmate Tang Zheng, hello, I am Yi Dingdang's father, Yi Tianlei." "Hello." Tang Zheng suppressed his anger and nodded in greeting, "If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving first." "You saved Dingdang and were injured. How can you just leave like this? Wouldn't it seem like we are lacking in etiquette? Why don't you come back with me to treat your injuries first and then you can leave?" Yi Tianlei unquestionably said. He suspected Tang Zheng, so naturally he would not let him leave so easily. Yi Dingdang looked at his injuries and knew that his family was poor. The treatment would definitely cost money. This time he was injured because of her, so how could she let him spend money? She also advised, "That's right, Tang Zheng, you come back with me to treat your injuries." Tang Zheng really wanted to leave, but this wound was not very serious, but it was not easy either. If he did not take care of it, it would arouse his grandfather's suspicion and make him worry for nothing. Thus, he was forced to agree. The helicopter spiraled into the air and roared away. Tang Zheng's emotions fluctuated. The Ya family's formation was so big. It seemed that it was more powerful than he thought. Nowadays, it was not rare to have a sports car, but to have a helicopter was definitely not a normal nouveau riche. The helicopter stopped in front of a villa, and a group of people quickly came up to greet them. Walking at the front was a graceful and elegant beautiful woman. Her appearance was somewhat similar to Yi Dingdang's. Tang Zheng guessed that she must be Yi Dingdang's mother. "Dingdang, are you all right? You scared me to death." The woman hugged Yi Dingdang in her arms and was pleasantly surprised. "Feng Xinyang, I'm fine." Yi Dingdang glanced at Tang Zheng and said embarrassedly, "I'm an adult. Others will laugh at me like this. What a joke. Whoever dares to laugh at you, I'll break their legs." Feng Xinyang swept her eyebrows and coldly said. Tang Zheng felt a chill run down his spine. Like mother, like daughter. This family was full of violent maniacs. No wonder Yi Dingdang had such a fiery temper. Moreover, Yi Dingdang had called her by her name. It was really strange. My daughter, you're injured. Doctor, come quickly." Suddenly, Feng Xinyang saw the wound on Yi Dingdang's body and made a big fuss. Several doctors in white coats immediately ran over. "Quickly take her to the infirmary for examination and treatment," Feng Xinyang said in alarm. "I'm fine. The blood has already stopped." "What do you mean you're fine? You lost so much blood. Do you really think that women are not afraid of bleeding?" "Humph, which bastard dared to hurt my, Feng Xinyang's, daughter? He must be tired of living." Feng Xinyang's face was ashen as she shouted. Yi Dingdang rolled her eyes and was escorted to the infirmary. Suddenly, she stopped and waved to Tang Zheng. "Tang Zheng, come with me to treat the wound." The two people went to the infirmary together. Yi Tianlei and Feng Xinyang looked at the two people's distant figures thoughtfully. Feng Xinyang frowned and asked, Tianlei, what is going on? Yi Tianlei muttered, I'm not clear about the details. However, the killer has been caught. I will personally interrogate him later. Who is that Tang Jing? Feng Xinyang asked. Classmate Ding Dang. However, this person is very suspicious. Feng Xinyang rolled her eyes and said, You like to be suspicious all day long. I think this young man is quite good. Who knows, he might be one of Ding Dong's admirers. Hee, Ding Dang is most like me in this aspect. She is naturally beautiful and has charmed countless people. Yi Tianlei's head was covered in cold sweat as he said, How old are you? You're still so shameless. Feng Xinyang's almond eyes widened as she said, Are you saying that I'm old? You have no conscience. In the past, so many people pursued me and I chose you. You actually despised me. I want our daughter to be the judge. Whoa. She was about to cry. If Tang Jing saw this, he would definitely be shocked. This sudden change in mood was too fast. The others had long since gotten used to it. They lowered their heads and acted as if nothing had happened. Yi Tianlei was very clear about his wife's temper and hurriedly comforted her. All right, that's not what I meant. Let's interrogate the killer first. Feng Xinyang's crying stopped abruptly as she stared at the killer. With a simple glance, the killer felt as if he had been seen through. A chill ran down his spine. A 6th-grade refining body dares to assassinate my Ding Dang. You really don't know how the word death is written. Feng Xinyang grabbed the killer's collar and quickly rushed into the villa. The killer was like a small shrimp, curled up and shivering. Tang Zhang and Yi Dingdong's shoulders were injured, but the injuries were not too serious. After the wounds were treated and bandaged, there were no major problems. Tang Zhang's clothes were stained with blood and could not be worn. He could only bare his arms. When Yi Dingdang saw his bare upper body, her face turned red. She secretly scolded herself. What was there to blush about? But his skin was a light bronze color, his muscles were well proportioned, and he even had a 6-pack. He was just like a model on TV. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Tang Jing coldly said. You want to leave like this? Aren't you afraid of being called an exhibitionist? Yi Dingdang mischievously said. It was March and the weather was still a bit cold. A bare upper body outside would definitely not be treated as a good person. Then return my clothes to me. Tang Jing also felt that it was inappropriate, so he said. There's so much blood, how can you wear it? If the police see it, they will definitely treat you as a murderer. That's my problem. Tang Jing only wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. Yi Tianlei's questioning attitude made him very unhappy. Wait a bit, I've already asked someone to wash it. Tang Zhang was helpless and could only wait. Seeing him not say a word, Yi Dingdang moved closer. She was really too curious about him. Yi Dingdang lived a good life. Aside from training, she had no interest in learning. She also had no interest in girls' things. Normal things also had a hard time arousing her interest. This time Tang Jing had aroused her interest, so how could she let him go so easily? Hey, what is your cultivation level? Yi Dingdang curiously asked. Tang Jing rolled his eyes at her and said, It's rude to ask someone this. What's there to be embarrassed about, stingy? Yi Dingdang pouted and rolled her eyes. I know, don't tell me your cultivation level is too low so you don't want to say it. Tang Zhang's thoughts were seen through and his face turned red. Yi Dingdang's eyes lit up and she excitedly clapped her hands and said, Haha, I was right. So your cultivation level really isn't high, deliberately mystifying things, humph. Yi Dingdang had always been brooding about losing to him. It must be known that she had always thought that she was very outstanding. She never thought that she would lose to an unknown person like Tang Jing. How could she swallow this anger? Even if my cultivation level is low, you are still not my opponent. Tang Jing replied. Yi Dingdang felt as if someone had grabbed her neck and was immediately speechless. She fiercely glared at him and had to admit that this was an indisputable fact. You are clearly not a prenatal stage martial artist, so how can you know the pressure point technique? Who said that the pressure point technique can only be practiced by prenatal stage martial artists? Is that not the case? No. Tang Jing silently added in his heart, in fact, cultivators can also practice it. Yi Dingdang sat down and angrily said, You're lying, my dad said that only prenatal stage martial artists can practice it. Then your dad is wrong. Tang Jing lightly said. You dare say my dad is wrong? Yi Dingdang stared with wide eyes. Everyone makes mistakes. Yi Dingdang coldly snorted and changed the topic, asking, Who did you learn your martial arts from? I'm not telling you. Stingy. Then why did you go to Ordinary Balance Mountain? I'm not telling you. Yi Dingdang was about to go crazy. Do you know anything else besides this sentence? Tang Jing was too lazy to pay attention to her and said, Are my clothes ready? Not ready. Yi Dingdang angrily said. Miss, the clothes are ready. At this time, a servant came in carrying the clothes. Yi Dingdang fiercely stared at this blind fellow, who came at such a bad time. Tang Jing proudly smiled and took the clothes, saying, Please leave, I want to change. Just change, you've already seen everything. You really want to see? See? Tang Jing shook his head and said, Are you a peeping Tom? It seems that I need to spread this around. Who said I'm a peeping Tom? Yi Dingdang was flustered and exasperated. She felt like she was going to vomit blood. I'm changing, yet you insist on looking. Isn't this peeping Tom? Fine, I won't look. It's so ugly, what's there to look at? Yi Dingdang held back her anger and rushed out. Tang Jing faintly smiled. Little thing, you want to bicker with me? Making you vomit blood is already light. To be honest, he really wasn't used to changing in front of strangers, especially women. He quickly changed his clothes and went out. He was wearing Pengqing International School's uniform, not the loose-fitting uniform of a public school. The well-tailored suit set off his figure very well, giving him a bit of a handsome and elegant feeling. Yi Dingdang's eyes lit up, thinking how she didn't notice before that he was actually a little handsome. If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving. My parents want to see you. Tang Jing frowned, hesitated for a moment, and then agreed. After all, this was the Ya family. If he didn't greet the host and left, it would be impolite. Tang Dehai had taught Tang Jing the basic principles and etiquette of a person since he was young, which had a great influence on him. Yi Dingdang brought Tang Jing to the living room. The living room was very large and dazzling, just like a palace. Chapter 17. Tang Jing was shocked. Her hands were very soft. Although they were not as delicate as Yi Dingdang's, they had a different kind of charm. He was surprised by Feng Xinyang's boldness, but then he heard her say, Little handsome, thank you for saving our Dingdang. Come and sit down. Have some snacks and drink. She pressed him down on the sofa, and then looked at Yi Tianlei. She shook her head slightly, indicating that she had not found any clues. They had finished interrogating the assassin, but they had not found the real culprit behind the scenes. The assassin was very stubborn, and they had not found the real culprit behind the scenes. The couple was worried. They only had one daughter, Yi Dingdang. If anything happened to her, it would be a devastating blow, so they had to find the real culprit behind the scenes. Tang Zhang's appearance was very sudden, causing people to have no choice but to be suspicious, especially after investigating him and discovering that his life had undergone an earth-shattering change. He should not have been a martial artist, but the strength he displayed was without a doubt that of a martial artist. Moreover, he also knew the pressure point technique. What was even more shocking was that the couple could not see through his cultivation. It was an undeniable truth that people with higher cultivation could see the strength of people with lower cultivation, but it did not apply to Tang Jing. How could they not be shocked and suspicious? They did not know that warriors and cultivators were two different systems. Of course, they could not see through him. Especially when Feng Xinyang grabbed Tang Zhang's hand just now, she secretly used her internal strength to check his cultivation, but found that it was like a clay ox in the sea. There was no reaction at all. In short, this was the first time the couple had encountered such a situation, and Tang Zhang was involved in the assassination. They had to be careful. If Tang Zhang was really an enemy, it would be troublesome. Feng Xinyang greeted Tang Jing enthusiastically. She was so enthusiastic that he could not resist. She kept calling him Little Handsome, which made him blush. Yi Dingdang angrily rolled her eyes at her mother, but there was nothing she could do. Her mother was like that. Feng Xinyang inquired about his well-being, from his school life to his daily routine, as if she was looking for a son-in-law. Her gaze was so hot that Tang Jing couldn't bear it. He felt like he was sitting on pins and needles, and he couldn't wait to leave this place as soon as possible. Why were rich people so troublesome? Little Handsome, I've heard the story of how you saved our Ding Dang. It was really thrilling. You're really amazing. Feng Xinyang patted her towering chest, a lingering fear in her heart as she said, I heard that you also know the pressure point technique, so you must have a master guiding you. We want to thank your master. After all, without him teaching such an outstanding disciple like you, our family's Ding Dang would have been in danger today. Madam Yi, my master is like a wild crane wandering the clouds. His whereabouts are unpredictable. I don't know where he is either. Tang Zhang had no choice but to fabricate a master. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense and would only arouse suspicion. It really is a pity. It seems like he's an expert. How should I address him? Tang Jing shook his head, he didn't tell me. What sect is it? He didn't say. He only said that we were brought together by fate, so he taught me martial arts. I'll take the liberty to ask again. What is your current cultivation level? I can't even see through it. Several people stared at Tang Jing with shining eyes, clearly curious about his cultivation level. Tang Jing hesitated. If he didn't tell them his cultivation level, it would definitely arouse their curiosity and suspicion. Right now, his time was precious and he didn't have the heart to deal with other matters. Moreover, from their eyes, he could see that they were suspicious of him. In order to wash away their suspicion, he truthfully said, equivalent to a first-grade refining body. What? First-grade refining body? The three people stood up at the same time, looking at him as if they were looking at an alien. A first-grade refining body was able to suppress a sixth-grade refining body. Moreover, he even knew the prenatal stage's pressure point technique. Was this a dream? This was beyond common sense. Tang Jing, so you were actually a first-grade refining body. Yet you pretended to be so strong and deliberately bullied me. Yi Dingdang was so angry that she directly jumped up. A first-grade refining body meant that one had just stepped into the threshold of a martial artist. She actually lost to a newcomer. If this could be tolerated, what could be tolerated? Yi Tianlei and Feng Xinyang looked at each other. The shock in their hearts was no less than Yi Dingdang's. However, they considered more. A first-grade refining body practicing the pressure point technique was unheard of. Moreover, he could even hide his cultivation level. This showed that his master was an expert. If this kind of person wanted to kill Yi Dingdang, they wouldn't even have the strength to fight back. Why would they send Tang Jing to participate in this? Thus, Tang Jing was innocent. The two blamed themselves. Yi Tianlei sternly said, Tang Jing, I misunderstood you before. I'm sorry. Saying this, he cupped his hands towards Tang Jing. Yi Dingdang stared dumbfoundedly at her father. What was wrong with her father? Why did he muster so many people and even apologize to him? It must be known that Yi Tianlei had an unbending character. Making him apologize was harder than ascending to the heavens. She didn't know what her parents were thinking. Even though Tang Zhang's cultivation level was low, he had a good master. The Ye family definitely couldn't become enemies with this kind of person. Tang Zhang felt a lot better. He wasn't an unforgiving type of person. He waved his hand and said, It's fine. Feng Xinyang smiled and said, This time it's all thanks to little handsome brother's help. If you have any requests, we will do our best to fulfill them. Yi Dingdang curiously looked at him. His family was poor. With her mother's words, he could reach the heavens in one step and live a rich life. No need. Tang Jing flatly refused. He wasn't moved in the slightest. A gentleman loves money. He was poor, but he wouldn't be poor his whole life. Relying on other people's charity wasn't as good as earning his own money. Moreover, when he saved people, he didn't think of asking for anything in return. In addition, his top priority was to save his grandfather. The Ye family wouldn't be able to help. Yi Tianlei and Feng Xinyang couldn't hide their astonishment. Facing such a good opportunity and not being moved, it could be seen that this child's heart was firm. The most important thing for a martial artist was to have a firm heart. Perhaps his future achievements wouldn't be low. Since it's like this, then we won't force you. Seeing that you were in a hurry to go home, I'll send a car to send you back. Thank you. Yi Dingdang disappointedly looked at his back as he left. She pouted and said, Hang, acting all high and mighty. Letting go of such a good opportunity, what a fool. My Dingdang, you're the foolish girl. Feng Xinyang walked over and rubbed her head. This little handsome brother isn't simple. I see that you have a bit of conflict with him. Remember to restrain your big missy temper and get along well with him. How is he handsome? I think he's ugly to death. Yi Dingdang unhappily said. Really? I think he's quite handsome. Dingdang, is he chasing you? How could that be? There are plenty of people like him in our school, and there are plenty who are more outstanding than him. Even if he chases after me, I wouldn't even fancy him. Yi Dingdang felt as if someone had stepped on her sore spot as she said in shock. Feng Xinyang mischievously winked and said, Oh, really? Then why did someone follow him to ordinary Balance Mountain? Feng Xinyang, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Yi Dingdang stomped her feet and ran back to her room with a red face. Feng Xinyang smiled and looked at Yi Tianlei and said, Tianlei, do you think this girl has fallen for that brat? I've never seen her so attentive to anyone. Impossible, Dingdong's heart is higher than the sky. She wouldn't like an ordinary person. Feng Xinyang rolled her eyes and meaningfully said, He's not an ordinary person. This girl is really like me when I was young. She dares to love and hate. She's much more obedient than you were when you were young. What, you're saying that I was very wild when I was young? Feng Xinyang angrily glared and was about to flip out. Yi Tianlei knew that he had said something wrong. He bitterly smiled and quickly changed the topic. Dingdang is in danger right now. I don't have time to take care of her. You have to take this responsibility. Feng Xinyang nodded, of course. If it wasn't for me, her mother, protecting her, then who would expect you to do it? If you want to kill my daughter, you'll have to get through me first. When Tang Jing returned home, the sky was already dark. He didn't find anything today, but he wasn't discouraged. However, he only had half a day every week before he could go look for the heaven-fragrant flower. Time was too tight. There are still 20 days. I have to break through my cultivation and find the heaven-fragrant flower during this time. Tang Jing clenched his teeth and secretly swore. Brat, it's not that I want to discourage you, but today I observed the situation of ordinary Balance Mountain. The spirit chi is thin, so there might not be the heaven-fragrant flower. Tian Chanzi said. We didn't finish looking for that cliff. It's the same whether we finish looking for it or not. The growth of the heaven-fragrant flower requires sufficient spirit chi. Ordinary Balance Mountain doesn't have this condition. No, I have to go look for it again. This time we're only at the top of the mountain, so I can only see a few dozen meters. I have to go deeper to look for it. Brat, you're courting death. With your current cultivation, if you're not careful and fall off the cliff, you'll definitely die. If I can't save Grandpa, what's the use of me living alone? Tang Zhang was very stubborn. He had to save his grandpa. Tian Chanzi was speechless, then prepare the rope. We'll go again next week. Dong dong. There was a knock on the door. Who is it? Tang Dahai went to open the door in puzzlement. The two of them didn't have any relatives. With a creak, the door opened. Tang Dahai was shocked and couldn't help but take a few steps back. He exclaimed, "Why is it you guys? Why are you guys here again? If you want to vent your anger, then hit me. Don't hurt my grandson." When Tang Zheng heard these words, his anger surged. Who was it that didn't open their eyes? Could it be the people who came to smash things last time? He angrily rushed out and was met with a few familiar faces. Lin Hu, Dong Zi, and a few other unfamiliar faces. Little Zheng, hurry and run. I'll hold them back. Tang Dahai didn't know where he got the strength, but he suddenly exploded. He stretched out his arms to block everyone and shouted in panic. Lin Hu and the others looked at each other in dismay. They really didn't know what was going on. Old man, we're here to find your grandson. Lin Hu politely said. I know. If there's anything you guys can come at me. You can hit me or scold me, but please don't hurt my grandson. Tang Dahai bitterly begged. Tang Jing felt a pain in his chest. He jumped in front of his grandpa to protect him. Tang Dahai was anxious and kept tugging at him, telling him to hurry and run. Chapter 18. Tang Jing nodded his head, turned around and said to Tang Dahai, Grandfather, they are not here to cause trouble. Don't worry, they won't do anything to me. Tang Dahai was in disbelief as he pointed at the several people in the crowd and said, Little Zheng, don't lie to me. How is this possible? Last time it was them who came to smash our house. You should hurry and leave before it's too late. They are the culprits. Tang Zheng's gaze turned cold as it fell on the several dejected people in the crowd. Get out here. Lin Hu loudly roared as the several people obediently walked out like stray dogs, not even daring to breathe loudly. Little brother, I have already brought the people to you. Last time it was these little bastards who caused trouble. They are not my people and are just a few random people. They actually dared to cause trouble in my brother Hu's territory. They must have eaten a leopard's guts. Lin Hu angrily said. The several people trembled as they hurriedly begged for mercy. Brother Hu, we won't dare to do it again. Please let us go. Hang, whether I let you go or not is not up to me. It is up to this little brother and the old man. Lin Hu gave Tang Jing enough face as he clearly said this. The few of them timidly looked at Tang Jing as they really did not know what kind of ability a person younger than them had to be able to make brother Hu mobilize such a large force. F***ck seeing the victim, you don't know how to apologize. Dong Zi angrily cursed as he kicked one of the people. The several people hurriedly bowed and apologized, saying, Two great masters, please forgive us. We won't dare to do it again. Tang Dahai was dumbstruck as he did not know what to do. He originally thought that they were here to cause trouble, but he did not expect things to turn out like this. All of these changes seemed to be related to Tang Zheng as he stared blankly at Tang Zheng. He vaguely felt that he was different from before. Is this how you beg for mercy? Tang Zheng forcefully suppressed his anger as he coldly said. Lin, who understood tacitly and shouted to kneel down. Dong Zi kicked him to the ground and scolded, "Damn it, don't you know that you have to kneel down to show your sincerity?" The few of them knelt on the ground, trembling non-stop, kowtowing like they were pounding garlic. Sorry, we know we were wrong. We had eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. Please let us go like a fart." Tang Zheng coldly snorted, looked at Tang Dahai and said, "Grandfather, how do you think we should deal with them?" Tang Dahai was at a loss. He had been well-behaved all his life and had never bullied anyone. Occasionally, when he was bullied, he could only swallow his pride and keep the peace. For a moment, when he saw someone kneeling and begging him for mercy, he felt like he was dreaming. He moved his lips but didn't know what to say. Tang Zheng looked at him and felt even more distressed. He became even angrier at the murderers and said, "If my grandfather doesn't forgive you, you'll never get up again." When they heard this, they became even more terrified. They cried loudly and begged for mercy. They kept saying good things about the old man. "Hang, if you knew this day would come, then why did you do it in the first place?" Tang Zheng did not have any pity. He believed in repaying evil with justice and not repaying evil with good. "Since you did it, then don't blame me for doing it 15 times. Tang Dahai looked at the few of them and then looked at his grandson. He sighed and said, "Little Zheng, forget it. Let them go. They are not that old and are also pitiful children." Thank you, old man, thank you, old man." The few of them felt as if they had been pardoned and cried tears of joy. "Okay, then we'll do as grandfather says. Grandfather, you go back to your room and rest. I'll come in a bit." Tang Zheng helped his grandfather back to his room and closed the door. He walked out and said, "Brother Hu, thank you." "Little brother, saying thank you is too estranged. Your matter is my matter. But letting these little brats go like this is letting them off too easily." Tang Zheng's eyes flashed with an ominous glint. Thinking back to the day when his home was in a mess and his grandfather's heartbroken look, his heart felt like it was being twisted by a knife. He said, "I think so too." Lin Hu's eyes lit up as he laughed and said, "Great minds think alike. Then little brother, how do you think we should deal with them?" Tang Zheng swept his eyes over the few of them and said, "Whoever made a move, break that hand to teach them a lesson." Lin Hu gave a few of his lackeys a look and said, "Do it. Be careful not to disturb the old man's rest." A few of the lackeys immediately covered the few people's mouths. Paw, paw, paw. With a few muffled sounds, the few people's arms immediately drooped down and broke. The few of them struggled but to no avail. Lin Hu waved his hand, indicating for them to be dragged away. He looked at Tang Zheng with a smile and handed over a cigarette. "Give me one." "No need." Lin Hu lit the cigarette and blew out a cloud of smoke and said, "They have already confessed. The real culprit behind this is a hedonistic young master. Oh, what's his name? Qiao Fei. He is the young master of the Qiao Group. The Qiao Group does business and their headquarters is in the south. That is not my territory." Tang Zheng's eyes trembled as he clenched his teeth and said, "So it was Qiao Fei. You know him. He used to be my classmate." Lin Hu suddenly realized that there was a conflict between the two of you. But this was too much. You don't even understand such a simple principle. Tang Zheng did not reply as he hated Qiao Fei to death. If he did not frame him for stealing money, he would not have been kicked out of Class 1. Also, the missing class fee was very strange. Who stole it? Just like what Xiao Fei said, the others did not lack these few $100, so there was no need to steal it. This was even more thought-provoking as it showed that someone was deliberately framing him. It must be Xiao Fei. Tang Zheng concluded based on Xiao Fei's actions. I have always been above him and he must have taken it to heart. Now that I am no longer number one, he still wants to kill me. He is too ruthless. Another point that made him angry was that Xiao Fei had made a move against his grandfather. His grandfather was the most important person in his life and was also his reverse scale. If someone dared to touch his grandfather, he would fight with his life on the line. Seeing the anger in his eyes, Lin Hu's heart moved as he asked, "Do you need my help?" "Not at the moment. Thank you, Brother Hu. If there was anything wrong in the past, please forgive me, Brother Hu," Tang Zheng said. Lin Hu laughed loudly as he put his arm around his shoulder and said, "Us brothers are too distant. Your problem is my problem. If someone dares to touch you, even the Heavenly Emperor would not." Tang Zheng smiled as he understood his kindness, but he was not the same as these gangsters, so he did not plan on becoming friends. The two exchanged a few more words before Lin Hu left with his men. Tang Zheng entered the house and found his grandfather sitting on a chair, looking at him with a burning gaze. "Grandfather, you should rest. Come here, I have something to say to you," Tang Dahai said in a serious tone. Tang Zheng was startled as he quietly sat down and looked at his grandfather's face, which was full of wrinkles. He was only 60 years old, but he looked like he was 70 or 80 years old. He had witnessed his grandfather's aging, and without him as a burden, his grandfather would not have aged so quickly. "Little Zheng, you have grown up," Tang Dahai said meaningfully. Tang Zheng smiled. "No matter how old I am still grandfather's grandson." Tang Dahai looked at him with a complicated gaze and said, "You have grown up and your wings have hardened. I can no longer control you." Tang Zheng's head thumped as his grandfather's tone was very strange. "Grandfather, what is wrong with you? Do you feel that it is not enough to vent your anger? Then I will catch them again to let you vent your anger." "Stop!" Tang Dahai roared. Tang Zheng had never seen his grandfather so fierce and was shocked. "Grandfather, what is wrong with you? Don't scare me." "Heng, what is wrong with me? I should be the one asking you what is wrong with you. How did you get mixed up with those people?" Tang Dahai's voice was stern as he felt a heartache. "I did not get mixed up with them." "Then why did they catch those people?" Do you have anything to say?" "Little Zheng, do you know what kind of people they are?" "Hoodlums. They are all bad people who do not know how to learn. How can you get mixed up with them?" "You are a student, so you should put all your energy into studying. Have you forgotten what I taught you before?" "I did not forget." "I think you have forgotten. Otherwise, why would you do such a thing? These few days you have changed so much that I do not recognize you anymore." Tang Dahai bitterly said, "Grandfather does not have many wishes in this life. I only hope that you can live a peaceful life. I do not necessarily want you to become a dragon, but I only hope that you can have a job, get married, and have children. Don't be like me, who does not know anything and can only scavenge for a living. Do you understand?" Tang Dahai said as tears flowed down his face. Tang Zheng felt as if he was being pricked by needles. 2 streams of tears flowed down his face as he knelt on the ground and said, "Grandfather, I was wrong. I will never make you angry again. Get up. A man has gold under his knees." Tang Dahai helped him up and said earnestly, "I know you've suffered since you were young and lost your parents, but you're a strong and sensible child. I just want you to remember one thing. Grandpa wants you to be a good person." Tang Zheng heavily nodded his head. "Grandfather, I did not forget your teachings. I will definitely be a good person." Gently wiping away the tears on his face, Tang Wenhai said, "A man does not cry easily. Don't cry. Grandfather believes in you. Let this matter pass. No matter who is right or wrong, you should not pursue it. You should study hard. Do you understand? The college entrance exam is coming soon. Grandfather is looking forward to seeing you enter university. Tang Zheng hesitated. The mastermind behind the scenes had already been exposed. If he did not do anything and let Xiao Fei get away with it, he would not be willing. But looking at his grandfather's expectant eyes, he could not bear to make him worry. In the end, he nodded his head. Grandfather, I promise. I will not pursue it anymore. Study hard. He secretly swore in his heart, Xiao Fei, this time I will let you go because of grandfather. If you continue to be stubborn, then don't blame me for being impolite. Tang Dehai rubbed Tang Zheng's head and grinned, my good grandson. Okay, go to sleep. You still have class tomorrow. Tang Zheng returned to his room and sat cross-legged. Tian Chanzi snorted and said, your grandfather is too soft-hearted. Chapter 19. Tang Zheng walked to the school gate and a luxury car stopped beside him. The car window rolled down and Feng Xinyang warmly said, little handsome brother, we meet again. What a coincidence. Yi Dingdang got off the car and angrily said, Feng Xinyang, hurry up and leave. I have to go to class. Feng Xinyang slowly said, why are you in such a hurry? It's still early. I haven't even talked to little handsome brother. Tang Zheng had already experienced Feng Xinyang's boldness and politely nodded with a smile, hello auntie. Calling me auntie makes me sound old. Am I that old? Feng Xinyang flipped her hair and coquettishly said. Tang Zheng was startled. She was indeed not old and had maintained herself well. She looked like she was in her 30s. Her charm was still there and she was mature. Feng Xinyang, can you not go crazy? Yi Dingdang could not bear to watch any longer. If she continued to stay, who knows what kind of shocking words she would say. Moreover, this was the school gate and the flow of people was huge. There were already people looking in their direction. Tang Zheng, let's go. Yi Dingdang grabbed Tang Zheng's hand and took large strides into the school. Feng Xinyang shook her head and said, a grown girl can't be kept at home. She actually despises me as her mother. This won't do. Children these days all call me auntie. Am I that old? I have to go and do some maintenance or I will really become an old woman. Tang Zheng was held by Yi Dingdang as a steady stream of pure yin energy entered his meridians. I'm so angry. This Feng Xinyang is becoming more and more excessive. Yi Dingdang was still angry. Tang Zheng smiled and said, why don't you call her mom? Why do you call her by her name? Wasn't it because of her request? She said calling her mom makes her sound old. She wanted me to call her by her name. She doesn't look like a mom at all. Actually, I think she's pretty good. Tang Zheng had never enjoyed a mother's love. He felt that Feng Xinyang's energetic personality was free and easy, which was really good. Good my ass. Yi Dingdang rolled her eyes at him. The two of them were holding hands. This scene was truly a spectacle on campus. In the past, Yi Dingdang was someone who kept people away. She had never had any physical contact with anyone. This time, she was actually holding hands with Tang Zheng and strolling around the campus. This was no less than explosive news. Caw caw caw. Someone secretly pressed the shutter of their cell phone to record this scene. Everyone speculated that what was said on the forum a few days ago was true. Yi Dingdang really did like Tang Zheng. Heavens, what was so good about him? He wasn't the top student he used to be. He was now a bad student. Could it be that the school beauty's taste was so unique that she had a special liking for bad students? Yi Dingdang only cared about leaving Feng Xinyang's noise as soon as possible. She didn't realize that her actions had caused such a big commotion. Tang Zheng couldn't wait to hold her hand so that he could absorb her purine energy. Moreover, her hand was smooth and tender, which was really comfortable. Tang Zheng. Suddenly, someone called out from behind them. The two of them stopped and saw Fang Shishir standing behind them. Her expression was complicated as she looked at the two of them. Her gaze fell on the pair of hands that were tightly clasped together. Yi Dingdang was stunned. She and Fang Shishir were known as the two school beauties. Although she didn't care about these titles, girls still had vanity. She had also paid attention to Fang Shishir, but she found that the two of them were not on the same path, so she didn't have much contact with them. At this moment, looking at Fang Shishir from such a close distance, she couldn't help but admit that she was really beautiful. Her beauty was a kind of gentle beauty that was more feminine. You too. Fang Shishir also knew about what happened on the forum. She didn't completely believe the rumors about Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang. After all, Tang Zheng had been immersed in his studies for the past 2 years and had never been in a relationship. However, when she saw the two of them holding hands, she had no choice but to believe that all of this was true. They really were together. She felt a slight sourness in her heart, as if she had suddenly lost her most precious thing. Tang Zheng's head thumped and he hurriedly let go of her hand. Yi Dingdang glared at him, thinking that she was too careless. The two of them had been holding hands for so long and she didn't even notice. However, looking at the panic in his eyes, she felt a burst of anger. I'm a girl, but I didn't say anything. Instead, you made it seem like you were the one who suffered a big loss. Could it be? She rolled her eyes and looked at Tang Zheng and Fang Shishir. Her heart skipped a beat. These two were having an affair. It was as if she had discovered a new continent. She felt that it was inconceivable and interesting. What was so good about him that Fang Shishir actually fell for him? Tang Zheng, I saw the post on the forum. Fang Shishir wanted to say something but stopped. Tang Zheng's heart tightened and he quickly explained, that's all made up by others. Don't believe it. But you too, it's a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. Yi Dingdang heard this and couldn't take it anymore. You're in such a hurry to disassociate yourself from me, as if I'm a dog skin plaster. She glared at him with her almond eyes and said, Tang Zheng, what did you say was a misunderstanding? It was a misunderstanding to begin with. Tang Zheng spoke the truth. Yi Dingdang was furious. Women all like to compare, especially between beautiful women. Seeing that Tang Zheng cared so much about Fang Shishir and treated her so badly, she couldn't help but feel angry. She mischievously thought, you've always lied to me that you're an acquired warrior. I haven't gotten my revenge yet. This time, I won't let you have it easy and ruin your good fortune. Tang Zheng, you heartless person. You've already held my hand and said that you'll treat me well for the rest of your life. But you're so fickle. Once you saw Fang Shishir, you completely forgot about it. You're too heartless. Yi Dingdang complained with tears streaming down her face. Her sincerity made Tang Zheng wonder if he had really said those words. But he clearly knew that all of this was a facade. She was just acting. You're talking nonsense. Okay, you don't want to admit it, right? Then who was the one who held my hand just now? Yi Dingdang's eyes flashed with an imperceptible craftiness as she spoke pitifully. You were the one who held my hand, okay? Tang Zheng was speechless. How could there be such a person who inverted black and white like this? I'm a girl. How could I take the initiative to hold your hand? It was clearly you who held my hand. Tang Zheng was at a loss for words. How could this woman be so unreasonable and invert black and white? Fang Shishir's face turned red all the way to her neck. Yi Dingdang's words couldn't be any clearer. But she didn't believe that Tang Zheng was a heartless person. But the truth was right in front of her and she had no choice but to believe it. Her mind was a bit messy, as if it was paste. She felt that she was a third party, and she hated third parties the most. She looked at Tang Jing with mixed feelings and said, "I'll go to the classroom first." Then she ran away as if she was flying. Yi Dingdang smiled proudly as if she had won a battle. Tang Jing flew into a rage. All of this was caused by her. He glared at her and said, "What are you trying to do?" Yi Dingdang raised her head and said, "Nothing." "Then why did you say those words just now? Why does it seem like you care about her? Could it be that you've fallen for her?" It's none of your business." Tang Jing felt a bit guilty. Did he really like Fang Shishir? She was beautiful, gentle, kind, and also unconditionally believed in him. Who wouldn't be moved by such a girl? Tang Zhang was also a hot-blooded youth. He also had expectations for relationships. It was just that he tried his best to restrain himself and wholeheartedly immerse himself in his studies. Now that he had undergone a great change, his muddled thoughts couldn't help but become clear. Yes, he had feelings for her. He had always had feelings for her. It was just that the two of them didn't have much contact. Moreover, they were worlds apart. This feeling was buried deep in his heart. "Hang, I can see that you really like her. So it turns out you like this type. But I won't let you succeed. Who told you to pretend to be an expert and lie to me?" Yi Dingdang said and swaggered away. Tang Zhang was dumbstruck. This woman was too unreasonable. All of this was clearly started by her. He didn't know that when talking reason with a woman, a man would always be at a disadvantage. The two of them sat next to each other, ignoring each other. Tang Jing silently absorbed the pure yin energy while cultivating. "Boss, you're too awesome." Feng Yong anxiously rushed in. "Is that true? Is it true? What is real or fake?" Tang Jing scratched his head in confusion. "Is what the forums are saying true? What nonsense is the forums talking about?" Feng Yong hurriedly took out his phone and said, "Boss, look at the pictures and text. Now your fame is even higher. Wow, your index on the billboard is already heaven-defying. Since the forums were established, you are the first person to reach such a heaven-defying index. You are indeed my boss." Tang Zhang was dumbstruck. The forums had recorded the scene that had just happened with pictures and text, but it was completely distorted. It said that the two school beauties were jealous of Tang Zhang. They were fighting openly and secretly and almost fought. It was even accompanied by the picture of Yi Dingdang and Tang Jing holding hands. It was just too explosive. On the forums, each and every animal's saliva was almost dry. This was 2F** king unreasonable. It was already enough that one of the school beauties liked him, but now two of them actually liked him. They were even fighting openly and secretly. They were simply not giving others a way to live. Tang Zhang was dripping with cold sweat. These people's imaginations were too good. It was really a waste of talent for them not to be paparazzi. Yi Dingdang snatched the phone and glanced at it. Her charming face was deathly pale as she roared, "What do you mean by fighting openly and secretly? Nonsense. Isn't this all your fault?" Tang Zhang said in a bad mood. If it wasn't for her deliberately causing trouble, there wouldn't be so many problems. "You dare to blame me? Isn't this all because of you?" Yi Dingdang fiercely glared at him. "If you didn't cause trouble, would all of this have happened? You." It was indeed so, but how could Yi Dingdang admit wrongly? Her eyes were fixed on the phone. The more she looked, the angrier she became. She was so angry that her shoulders trembled. Suddenly, she waved her hand. "Pa!" The phone hit the wall and broke into pieces. "Ah, my phone." Feng Yong cried out in grief. He was too unlucky. This was simply a disaster for the fish in the moat. But when he saw Yi Dingdang's fierce eyes, he could only swallow his anger back into his stomach. Fatty phone, I'll compensate for your phone. Yi Dingdang embarrassedly said. Chapter 20. Xiao Fei also wanted to smash his phone as the post and pictures on the forum made him furious. He unwillingly looked at Fang Shishi's back as he gnashed his teeth and secretly said, "You always rejected me, saying that you don't want to be in a relationship and that you want to put all your energy into your studies. So it was all a lie. You actually fell in love with Tang Jing, that poor bastard. Preposterous. What's so good about him? He's poor like Ding Dang and he's at the bottom of the class. He doesn't have any capital at all. Why?" Xiao Fei's anger was difficult to quell, but he thought of another matter that added fuel to the fire. The people he sent to smash Tang Zheng's house returned with news that they were beaten up by North City's Lin Hu. It was said that Tang Zheng and Lin Hu had a close relationship. Xiao Fei felt that this was like listening to a heavenly book. How could Tang Zheng and Lin Hu be together and have a close relationship? Did you think that you were lying to a 3-year-old child? Xiao Fei did not believe the words of those people. He thought that they were exaggerating and wanted to get more money from him. He would not be fooled. Since we can't do it secretly, then I'll do it openly. I'll let the police deal with you. Let's see what you can do. Xiao Fei suddenly had an idea. Takashi fiercely looked at Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang, who were whispering to each other. His eyes were about to pop out and he was about to grind his teeth to pieces. Ever since he suffered at the hands of Tang Zheng, he had always harbored hatred in his heart and was waiting for an opportunity to take revenge. However, Tang Zheng suddenly became able to fight. This was beyond his expectations and he did not know what to do. The phone rang. Takashi picked it up and said a few words. He then hurriedly walked out and met up with Xiao Fei at the end of the corridor. They whispered to each other and gradually, a sinister smile appeared on both of their faces. Fang Shishi stared blankly at the blackboard. She could not hear anything. Her heart was in chaos. This kind of situation had never happened before and she was at a loss. What's wrong with me? She grabbed her hair in distress as she couldn't help but recall the scene from that morning. That kind of bitterness was exceptionally deep. Could it be that I've fallen for him? That's impossible. I'm determined to study hard. My goal is to go to Yenqing University. But why is this feeling so strong? It's like my most precious thing has been snatched away. Yi Dingdang, you're so bad. You've disturbed my heart. Take a deep breath. Pay attention in class and study hard. A day passed by quickly. Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang were practically inseparable. They even ate lunch together, causing others to talk about it. However, Yi Dingdang was used to doing things her own way. At first, she was angry, but later, she slowly got used to it. In fact, she did not have any real friends in school. Tang Zheng was a martial artist, which gave her a natural sense of closeness. Moreover, she wanted to pry into his secrets, so of course she would not let go of any opportunity to interact with him. After school, Tang Zheng briefly explained the revision content to Feng Yong. After all, he had promised to help him make up for his lessons. This month, he had been busy with cultivation and did not have time. However, he had also organized the revision content for him to study according to. Tang Zheng carried his backpack and ran. From time to time, he would look back to make sure that Yi Dingdang was not following him. Only then did he feel relieved. This girl was weird, so he had to be careful. When he ran, he could clearly feel that his Jinqi was circulating faster. It offset the tiredness of his body, making him feel as light as a bird. Help! A cry for help interrupted his train of thought. He stopped in his tracks and looked around. The cry for help sounded again in a small alley nearby. He did not think much and directly ran towards the source of the sound. Now that he had mastered martial arts, he should learn from the ancient heroes and help when he saw injustice. Moreover, he had promised his grandfather that he would be a good person. Of course, he could not sit back and do nothing. Hee, little girl, you are so beautiful. Accompany us to have some fun. I guarantee that you will feel so good that you will fly to the sky. That's right. We are very good at martial arts. The three of them surrounded a beautiful girl with a mischievous smile. The beautiful girl was leaning against the wall and kept shouting, "Help, don't come over." However, it was useless. Instead, it aroused the other party's further action. One of them hugged her and moved on her hand. "Stop!" Tang Jing shouted, in broad daylight, "Is there any law? F***ck, where did this stinking brat come from? Do you want to die?" One of them jumped up and threw a punch. Tang Jing did not dodge, but instead grabbed the opponent's fist and squeezed it, causing the opponent to immediately cry out miserably, as if his bones were about to shatter. When the other two saw this, they were so scared that they quickly retreated. "Get lost!" Tang Jing shouted. The three of them ran away in fear. Tang Jing smiled proudly. This feeling of power was really cool. It felt good to see injustice on the road and help. "Miss, are you okay?" Tang Jing asked with concern. "Thank you." The beautiful girl held his hand and shed tears of gratitude. A large part of her shirt was torn, revealing her pink bra. It was dazzling. Suddenly, the beautiful girl hugged Tang Jing. Tang Jing's head tightened. He quickly said shyly, "Miss, don't be like this." But he heard her cry out heartbreakingly, "Rape! Catch the hooligan!" While shouting, she actually tore off her clothes. In an instant, her upper body was only left with a bra. Boom! Tang Zhang's mind exploded. He secretly said, "Not good. Boy, you were fooled." Tian Chanzi sighed. Tang Jing certainly knew that he was fooled. His only thought was to quickly leave this place. But this woman was like an octopus, tightly clinging to him. "Don't move." Several policemen appeared. Their guns were pointed at Tang Jing. Tang Jing wanted to run but he could not. He could not run faster than bullets. "Police, quickly catch him. He wants to rape me." "Whoa whoa." The beautiful girl cried out pitifully. "Humph, still a student but dares to rape a woman in broad daylight. You really have guts." The policeman angrily roared. Two policemen grabbed Tang Zhang's shoulders. "Let me go. This is all a misunderstanding." Tang Jing shouted. "Misunderstanding? We saw it clearly. How could it be a misunderstanding? Boy, wait to go to jail." The policeman coldly said. Tang Zhang's heart was completely cold. This was all a conspiracy. It was aimed at him. It was too vicious. He fiercely looked at the woman and said, "Why do you want to frame me? Why? Police, he is so fierce. Quickly catch him." The woman's eyes were flustered. She hurriedly moved back. "Miss, you can relax. With the police here, he will not be able to hurt you." A policeman kicked Tang Zhang's knee, but found that the other side did not move. He was shocked and angrily shouted, "Don't move, otherwise our bullets will not grow eyes." The muzzle of the gun was pressed against his head, he did not dare to move. "No, I must escape. This is all a conspiracy. If I am taken to the police station then I will be miserable." Tang Zhang was upset. He waited for an opportunity to escape. But how could the police let him do as he wished? They directly handcuffed him. One on the left and one on the right. Follow us back to the police station. Miss, you also go back to cooperate with our investigation. The beautiful girl hurriedly nodded and said yes. She put on her clothes. The police quickly pressed Tang Jing into the police car and rushed to the police station. Not far away, Xiao Fei and Takashi stared at all of this. They then gave each other a high five. They looked at each other and laughed. Haha, this time he is finished. He will definitely be expelled from school. Xiao Fei's face was ashen as he said, how can he just be expelled? He must never be able to turn over a new leaf. Hang, this time he must be sentenced. He is already 18 years old. He has the ability to take criminal responsibility. Right, Xiao Fei, you really are sinister. You actually thought of such a move. Truly ruthless. Takashi praised. Xiao Fei proudly gave a cold smile. This is the result of offending me. Isn't this what you want? Of course. Now he won't be able to bother Yi Dingdang anymore. Moreover, Fang Shishir won't be able to escape from the palm of your hand. Xiao Fei's eyes flashed as he said in his heart, Fang Shishir, you use studying as an excuse to reject me, but you secretly have feelings for this poor bastard. I will make you watch as he is destroyed by me. Furthermore, since you are not a chaste and virtuous woman, then there is no need for me to waste my time with you. I must obtain you as soon as possible. The news of Tang Jing being arrested quickly spread through the forums. Some people said that they just happened to come across this incident on their way home from school. So they recorded it and even attached a photo. Tang Jing was handcuffed and was dragged into a police car by 2 police officers. Beside him was a beautiful girl with a frightened face. This was enough to cause people to daydream. Some busybodies also revealed that they found out from the police station that Tang Jing was arrested on suspicion of rape. Wow, this caused the forums to explode. Rape, this word was absolutely explosive to a high school student. Immediately, a large group of people who were dissatisfied with Tang Zhang's taking advantage of Yi Dingdang and Fang Shishir, these 2 fresh cabbages, began to jeer as they rejoiced in Tang Zhang's misfortune. Tang Zhang's popularity was once again pushed to an unreachable level. This news was like a rolling snowball that spread through the entire school. Whether it was teachers or students, they all knew that the former top student, the current bottom student, Tang Jing, was arrested for rape. Tang Dahai finished preparing dinner. After waiting for a long time, the dinner was almost cold but his grandson still had not returned. He stood at the door and stretched his neck to look at the road back. He muttered to himself, little Jing should be back by now. But why isn't he back yet? Could it be that something happened at school and he was delayed? He waited for a while. The sky was already dark and the food was completely cold. He began to worry. He took out his phone and dialed his grandson's number. Hello, little Jing, where are you? Who are you? An unfamiliar male voice came from the phone. Tang Dahai's heart thumped. He had a bad premonition, I am his grandfather. What happened to little Jing? Tang Zhang was arrested for rape. You are his family. Hurry and come to the police station. Hang, what kind of person is he to actually raise such a little bastard? Rape. Chapter 21. Tang Dahai anxiously rushed to the police station and was reprimanded by a fierce-looking police officer, saying how did he educate his child and that he actually taught a rapist. Tang Dahai cried out that he was wronged and said that it was impossible. He wanted to see Tang Jing but was rejected, saying that Tang Jing was being interrogated and that he would not see any unrelated people. The old man panicked. He did not know why such a disaster would happen, but it was impossible for him to believe that Tang Jing was raped. He was angry and anxious, his whole body trembled. Suddenly, his eyes rolled back and he fainted. The dazzling light made Tang Jing almost unable to open his eyes. He squinted his eyes and looked at the police officer Lu Gang behind the light. Lu Gang slammed the table and fiercely said, "Tell us the truth, how many times have you done this? Did you do this before? Don't try to hide it, we police officers will dig it out one by one. Don't think you can get away with it. Humph, how can students become like you? A black sheep like you must be removed. We have already informed your school, the teacher will be here soon." "What? Why did you inform the school?" Tang Zhang, who had been silent, finally exploded. The police had informed the school, which meant that his grandfather would definitely know. He did not know how worried he would be. He became restless. "Humph, are you afraid that others will know after doing such a thing? You should have thought of the consequences before you did it," Lu Gang said with disdain. Tang Jing knew that he had fallen into a huge conspiracy. That woman and the police were arranged in advance, otherwise how could there be such a coincidence? He had already repeatedly explained that he did not rape her, he was just acting bravely, but how could the police listen to him? Moreover, that woman insisted that he raped her. He had no way to defend himself. Even if he jumped into the Yellow River he would not be able to clear his name. "Shameless, you guys are too shameless." Tang Jing gnashed his teeth and said. "Ha, shameless? Brat, you've committed a crime and you're still calling others shameless. You're too funny. I've seen a lot of stubborn people like you. But no matter how hard your bones are, no matter how tight your mouth is, I'll make you confess." Lu Gang's face became extremely fierce. He slammed the table and stood up. He majestically walked in front of Tang Zhang and looked at him condescendingly. "Boy, I'll let you know the power of the police." He took a thick book and placed it on Tang Zhang's chest. "You want to extort a confession by torture?" Tang Zhang's expression changed. He didn't expect the other party to be so shameless. "You don't have to say it, but I promise you'll tell me everything later." Bang! The police officer punched the book, and the force was transmitted through the book to Tang Zhang's chest. He felt suffocated and coughed non-stop. "Boy, fight back. You've been framed. If you don't fight back, you'll be killed," Tian Chanzi advised. Tang Jing gritted his teeth. No, if he resisted, he would fall into the enemy's trap, and that would be even more of an excuse. Bang bang bang, Tang Jing took a few punches in succession, his chest was in pain, and he could not even cough. His face was flushed red, and suddenly, true qi from his 8 extraordinary meridians gathered in his chest, causing the pain to disappear, and his complexion returned to normal. Lu Gang looked at him in surprise. This boy was quite resistant. Others would have been unable to take a few punches, but he actually survived. It seemed that his physical fitness was quite good. Boy, this is just the appetizer. The main course is yet to come. Lu Gang said coldly. What you did to me today, I'll pay you back in double. Tang Zheng stared at the other party and said without fear. Fuck, you dare to threaten me. You won't cry until you see the coffin. Lu Gang was angry. He waved his fist, and the muffled sound never stopped. Boy, I'll teach you a way. Place your true energy in your chest. No matter how many times he hits you, he can't really hurt you. Tian Chanzi saw that he had made up his mind and gave him advice. Then why didn't you say so earlier? Tang Jing grumbled as he hurriedly circulated his true qi. The force in his chest was completely blocked out of his body. There was no pain at all. His complexion was as usual as he looked at the policeman who was throwing punches like rain. Lu Gang thought to himself, what the hell? Is this brat made of steel? How can he be so resistant to beatings? Fuck, I don't want to hit you anymore. My hands are hurting. Lu Gang was flustered and exasperated. He fiercely threw down the book. He was so angry that he had completely lost his wolf. This is just scratching an itch through the boot. I can't cure you, but I have other methods. He waved his fist directly at Tang Zhang's head. He didn't care about leaving scars. He wanted to make Tang Zhang kneel and beg for mercy. Tang Zhang's eyes flashed with a trace of fierceness. He tilted his head and angrily shouted, "If you hit me again, I won't be polite." "Humph, how can you not be polite? Your hands are cuffed. Do you think you can resist?" Lu Gang contemptuously said. "Boy, I can't bear it anymore." "You don't have to bear it anymore. If you are blindly cowardly, you are not a real man. A cultivator being bullied by ordinary people, I feel ashamed for you," Tian Chanzi said. Whoosh! Lu Gang once again swung his fist at Tang Zhang. Tang Zhang's hands were unable to move, but his two legs were free. He kicked out with lightning speed, directly kicking Lu Gang's crotch. A pig-like scream immediately rang out. Lu Gang clutched his crotch and directly fell to the ground. The veins on his forehead were exposed, and the muscles on his face were twisted together. You dare to attack a police officer. You deserve to be a police officer, scum. Squeak. The door of the interrogation room opened. Several people rushed in. They heard a cold voice angrily say, "If you dare to hurt my student, you will regret it." Suddenly, the voice came to an abrupt stop. The people who came stared dumbfoundedly at Lu Gang, who was screaming on the ground, and Tang Zhang, who was sitting on the chair. What is going on? The police who came in were also confused. They knew that they had to do something to Tang Zhang, so they did everything they could to stop them. However, Lu Qingmei brought a bodhisattva, making them powerless to resist. They didn't even have time to send a message before a group of people rushed in. The head of the police station, Deng Maokai, had already prepared for the worst, which was to let Lu Gang take the blame for the interrogation. But the scene that greeted his eyes made his jaw drop. He couldn't figure out what was going on. Tang Zhang curiously looked at the people who came in. His gaze fell on Lu Qingmei. Why did she come? Tang Zhang, how are you? Are you injured? Lu Qingmei hurriedly walked over, touching his body left and right, looking at him, her feelings of concern overflowing with words. Teacher Lu, why did you come? You are my student. Could it be that I can't come? Lu Qingmei coldly glanced at him. Deng Maokai swallowed his saliva. This beauty was truly of the highest quality. Her every frown and smile was filled with an ecstatic charm. However, he could only look at her from afar. Although he didn't know her true identity, the other person who came with her made him not dare to have any thoughts of being rash. Beside Lu Qingmei stood a 30-year-old man dressed in a suit. Song Donghua, the secretary of Ordinary Balan City's mayor. He represented the mayor's will. His interference made Deng Maocai's heart tremble. He originally thought that this would be an easy matter. After all, he was already very familiar with this kind of thing. He didn't expect that he would kick an iron plate. Now, there was only one path left. He had to grit his teeth and persevere. He definitely couldn't admit that this was a trap. This brat attacked a police officer. Lu Gang climbed up with difficulty and pointed at Tang Zhang. Shwa! Everyone's gaze focused on Tang Zhang's body. Lu Qingmei coldly glanced at him and said, "Nonsense." Both of his hands were handcuffed. How could he attack a police officer? He didn't use his hands. He used his feet. Lu Gang sucked in a breath of cold air and said. Everyone looked at Tang Zhang's feet. Lu Qingmei said without hesitation, "Do you have evidence?" Lu Gang was speechless. Tang Zhang, what did they do to you? Lu Qingmei asked. He hit my chest. Nonsense. I didn't. Lu Gang immediately denied. He sinisterly smiled. You say that I hit you. Do you have evidence? Tang Zheng, don't be afraid. With me here, if they dare to hurt you, I will definitely make them suffer. Lu Qingmei coldly said. Song Donghua also nodded and said, Student, if they have committed any dereliction of duty, just say it. We will definitely uphold justice for you. Deng Mao Kai was startled. He suspiciously looked at Lu Gang as if he was asking if there were any injuries on Tang Zheng's body. Lu Gang understood and shook his head. His meaning was that there were absolutely no injuries and there was absolutely no evidence. This made Deng Mao Kai feel at ease. Tang Zheng looked at Song Donghua. He did not know who he was, but he believed in Lu Qingmei. Thus he said, I have evidence. What a joke. How could you have evidence? Lu Gang clearly did not believe him. He had already used this method countless times and it had never left a scar. How could Tang Zheng have evidence? You mean to say that you really did hurt him but purposely did not leave any evidence? Lu Qingmei caught the flaw in Lu Gang's words and asked. Lu Gang panicked and hurriedly denied, No, I have never hurt him. If he insists that I hurt him, then take out the evidence. Otherwise, I will sue him for defamation. Tang Zheng, don't be afraid. Quickly take out the evidence. He hit my chest many times and it hurts a lot. I feel that there must be a scar. Once you take off my clothes, you will be able to see it. Tang Zheng confidently said. Deng Mao Kai suspiciously looked at Tang Zheng. He understood Lu Gang very well and knew that he was very familiar with doing this kind of thing. How could he leave any evidence? But Tang Zheng insisted. Could it be that there was an accident? Tang Zheng's hands were cuffed and he could not move. Lu Qingmei directly took off his clothes and revealed his bare chest. Everyone's gaze was immediately attracted to it. Ah! Immediately, cries of alarm sounded out. Chapter 22. There was a bruise on Tang Zheng's chest, clearly caused by a heavy blow. The evidence was irrefutable and Lu Gang could not deny it even if he wanted to. Lu Qingmei angrily glared at them and said, You guys are too ruthless. He is still a child and you guys are actually so ruthless. Impossible, I clearly used a book as a cushion, so how could there be a scar? Lu Gang stupidly muttered to himself, unable to accept this result. You finally confessed to using a book as a cushion. Is this how you police handle cases? Lu Qingmei angrily asked. Lu Gang was speechless and turned his head to look at Deng Mao Kai. Deng Mao Cai's face was ashen as he hated him to death. Unable to accomplish anything but good at spoiling things. Song Donghua's face was also ugly as he sternly said, Black sheep, this matter must be thoroughly investigated. Any malfeasance cannot be tolerated. Deng Mao Kai was so scared that his whole body trembled as he hurriedly said, Yes, Secretary Song's words are correct. Lu Gang, this black sheep must be thoroughly investigated. Men, lock him up. Deng Mao Kai was afraid that Lu Gang would expose him, so he hurriedly ordered people to take him away. Wait. Tang Zheng finally spoke. The scar on his chest was obviously not caused by the attack but was created by himself. He used his qi to create a bruise on his chest, turning defeat into victory and leaving Lu Gang helpless. But letting Lu Gang go like this would be letting him off too easily. After all, Tang Zheng had not yet been cleared of suspicion, so he said, When he hit me, he clearly said that he was deliberately framing me but did not say who was behind the scenes. Also, that woman, they are in cahoots, so she definitely knows who is behind the scenes. Lu Qingmei agreed, Yes, this matter cannot be left unpunished. We definitely cannot let the mastermind get away with it. Song Donghua's two thick eyebrows were deeply locked as he stared at Lu Gang with an unkind gaze and asked, "Who is the mastermind?" "I." Lu Gang had a guilty conscience and did not know how to answer. He hurriedly looked at Deng Maokai for help as this was all Deng Maocai's orders. Deng Maocai's heart tightened and his mouth became dry as he hurriedly scolded, "Lu Gang, this matter is very serious. If you speak without thinking, then be careful of your crimes." Lu Gang shivered as he lowered his head in fear. Song Donghua gave Deng Maokai a meaningful glance as the threat in Deng Maocai's words was too strong, even a fool could hear it. "Chief Deng, what is this all about? If you dare to deceive me, you know the consequences," Song said. Deng Maokai clenched his teeth, not daring to say anything. "Secretary Song, of course I know how serious this is, so I will personally interrogate Lu Gang. I must get to the bottom of this." Tang Zheng looked meaningfully at Deng Maokai as his intuition told him that he was definitely related to this matter. However, Tang Zheng did not have any evidence and did not know the mastermind. The mastermind was definitely someone else. Tang Zheng decided to strike while the iron was hot and not give the other party a chance to fool him. "Then I will wait here for the truth to come to light. If I don't find the mastermind, I will definitely not leave." Lu Qingmei looked at him approvingly and said, "Yes, we will wait here." Song Donghua fiercely stared at Deng Maokai and said, "Did you hear that? Quickly interrogate this black sheep and give me the results. Also, immediately unlock Tang Zhang's handcuffs." Deng Maokai wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and personally unlocked Tang Zhang's handcuffs. He kept apologizing, saying that he did not know the right person and used a scum like Lu Gang, causing him to suffer. Tang Zheng coldly looked at him acting. His acting was flawless and it would be a pity if he did not become an actor. Deng Maokai felt a chill in his heart when he saw Tang Zhang's cold stare. He turned his head to avoid eye contact and picked up Lu Gang to leave. "Stop, if you want to interrogate then do it in front of everyone. I don't trust you," Lu Qingmei said without any trace of politeness. Deng Maokai awkwardly stopped and looked at Song Donghua. Song Donghua coldly said, "Did you not hear? Ask him clearly in front of everyone what exactly is going on." Deng Maocai's heart was bitter as he quickly gave Lu Gang a look, hinting him not to expose him. Lu Gang was in a daze but he knew that Deng Maokai was his life-saving straw. If he exposed Deng Maokai then both of them would be in trouble and no one would be able to save him. Thus, he clenched his teeth and said, "This matter was done by me alone and there was no one behind the scenes." Deng Maokai let out a breath of relief as Lu Gang was not completely stupid. "Nonsense, I have no enmity with you, so why would you want to frame me?" Tang Jing retorted as this person would not shed tears until he saw the coffin. "I just don't like you." "What about it?" Lu Gang stubbornly said as his eyes gradually became resolute. Tang Jing coldly snorted as the other's explanation was weak and powerless. He had already made up his mind and it would not be easy for him to pry open his mouth. Even if he went to ask that woman he would not be able to get any useful information. Tang Zheng was very unsatisfied as if he did not get to the bottom of this matter he would not be able to eat or sleep in peace. "Lu Gang, you really disappoint me. As a police officer you knowingly broke the law. You can just wait for the law to punish you. Men, lock him up." Deng Maokai pretended to be angry as he said so that no one could find fault with him. "Tang Zheng, let's go. I see that everyone here is angry," Lu Qingmei unhappily said as they walked out of the interrogation room with Deng Maokai carefully accompanying them. He was eager to send these bodhisattvas away as this matter was messed up and he still had to think of a way to deal with the aftermath. The few of them had just walked into the hall when they heard a burst of noise. "Someone fainted, quickly call an ambulance. Quick, quick, carry the person out." Several policemen hurriedly carried a person out. Tang Zheng took a look and his expression changed. He rushed over like a madman and shouted, "Grandfather, grandfather, what happened to you?" Tang Dehai's eyes were tightly shut as he was carried by several people. He had already fainted in the room for a long time and was just discovered so he could not be woken up. Seeing that his grandfather did not respond, Tang Zheng became anxious as these policemen were too hateful. They actually called his grandfather to the police station. His grandfather must have fainted because of him, but now was not the time to investigate who was responsible. Saving people was more important. He grabbed his grandfather and carried him as he quickly ran out shouting, "Out of the way, quickly out of the way." When Lu Qingmei saw this, she was shocked but immediately understood what was going on. She hurriedly said, "Tang Zheng, quickly get into my car. I'll take you to the hospital." She quickly opened the car door and let the two of them in. She then turned to Song Donghua and said, "Secretary Song, I'll be leaving first." She quickly started the car and drove towards the hospital. Deng Maocai's face was pale. If something really happened to that old man, then his days would not be good. Song Donghua looked at him with disgust and coldly said, "You're on your own now." Just as he finished speaking, he was about to leave when he saw a luxurious car quickly stop at the entrance. A little fatty hurriedly ran out and shouted, "Where did you lock up my boss Tang Zheng? Hurry up and let him out." Deng Maocai and Song Donghua looked at each other. Who was this person? Deng Maocai wiped away his cold sweat. Wasn't Tang Zheng just a poor student? Why were there so many people looking for him? He did not have time to reply before another luxurious car arrived. Two beautiful figures jumped out and rushed over. They asked, "Who caught Tang Zheng?" Song Donghua's pupils shrank as he looked at the person in shock. He recognized the other party and hurriedly went up to greet her. "Madam Yi, why have you come?" Feng Xinyang looked at him with surprise. "You recognize me? I've seen you before at a banquet." Song Donghua respectfully said. Deng Maocai was secretly speechless. Just who was this woman to make Secretary Song so respectful? Feng Xinyang, saving people is more important. Let's not talk about the past. Yi Dingdang urged. When she heard that Tang Zheng had been caught, she impatiently rushed over. Although she had not known Tang Zheng for a long time, she did not think that he would do such a thing as rape. Moreover, Tang Zheng had saved her life before, and this could be considered as returning the favor. Right, saving people is more important. Feng Xinyang said as she rushed into the police station. "Madam Yi, Tang Zheng has already left and is on the way to the hospital." Song Donghua hurriedly said. "Hospital? Could it be that he was injured? These policemen were actually able to injure him?" Feng Xinyang was incomparably flabbergasted. "It's a long story. Let's go to the hospital first." Song Donghua felt that this matter was becoming more and more complicated. He originally thought that Tang Zheng was just an ordinary student. He did not think that he would alarm the Ye family. He could not help but re-evaluate Tang Zheng. At this time, Yi Dingdang finally noticed the little fatty Feng Yong and asked, "Why are you here?" "Of course I'm here to save my boss." Feng Yong said, "Let's not talk about this for now. Let's go to the hospital. This matter is too messy and has made me confused." Several cars sped towards the hospital, leaving Deng Maocai standing there in shock. After a long time, as if waking up from a dream, he took out his phone and dialed a number. "Young Master Chiao, the situation is not good. The plan this time has failed." "How could it fail?" Chiao Fei was shocked as he angrily roared. "This Tang Zheng is not simple. There was actually someone who stood up for him. How could that be? He is just a poor bastard. How could there be someone who would stand up for him?" Chiao Fei was in disbelief. Young Master Chiao, is there a mistake in your information? This time there was more than one person who stood up for him. He has already left the police station and I am unable to protect myself. Xiao Fei was silent as this unforeseen event was out of his expectations. He originally wanted to use this opportunity to completely destroy Tang Jing. Not only did he want to destroy his reputation, but he also wanted to send him to jail. However, he was actually able to escape. Xiao Fei was completely puzzled. Young Master Xiao, this time my career will be affected. Where is the money we agreed on? The matter has not been settled yet, you still want money. Hang. Xiao Fei angrily hung up the phone. Chapter 23. In the hospital, Tang Dehai had already been sent to the operating room. Tang Zheng and Lu Qingmei sat in the corridor, anxiously waiting. Tang Jing remorsefully buried his head in his knees. If it wasn't for him, his grandfather wouldn't have become like this. He fell into deep self-blame. Lu Qingmei comforted, Tang Jing, don't worry. Heaven helps the worthy. Your grandfather will be fine. Tang Jing didn't say a word, silently praying. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps approached. Yi Dingdang and the others rushed over and asked with concern, Tang Jing, how is your grandfather? Tang Jing looked up at them and said, he's still in the operating room. Why are you here? We just went to the police station and heard that you came to the hospital, so we rushed over. Thank you. Boss, don't say thank you. This is what we should do. Feng Yong said. Feng Xinyang nodded and said, you saved our family's Dingdong's life. This is what we should do. The others looked at Tang Jing and Yi Dingdang in surprise. They didn't know that there was such a thing between them. Yi Dingdang looked at the anxious and worried Tang Jing. It was completely different from the confident Tang Jing. It made people feel a kind of heartache. She wanted to say a few words of comfort, but found that all words were pale and powerless. Just then, the door of the operating room opened and Tang Dehai was pushed out. Tang Jing hurried over and asked, Doctor, how is my grandfather? His life is saved for the time being. The doctor hesitated, but the situation is not optimistic. His heart originally had a problem. This time, he was agitated and his condition worsened. He must be hospitalized for treatment and observation. As for what will happen in the end, we can't guarantee. Tang Zhang's head throbbed. His heart ached. Kid, his life force has decreased by a lot. He only has half a month left. Tian Chanzi suddenly said. What? Half a month? Tang Jing was shocked. The old man originally still had 20 days of lifespan, but now he had actually lost a few days. The time left for Tang Jing was becoming less and less. He had to find the heavenly fragrant flower as soon as possible and break through to the third grade refining qi, but this was almost impossible. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. I can't give up. I have to let Grandpa live. Kid, sometimes people have to face the cruel reality. Don't push yourself too hard, Tian Chanzi advised. Shut up. Tang Jing involuntarily roared out, causing the others to jump in fright as they looked at him in shock. Tang Jing, boss, what's wrong with you? Everyone asked in unison. I'm fine. Tang Jing changed the topic and said that he agreed to be hospitalized. Then, he went to go through the hospitalization procedures. He only had a few dozen yuan with him. Even the cost of the surgery was paid for by Lu Qingmei. Tang Jing, I'll pay for the hospitalization fees. When you have money in the future you can pay me back. Lu Qingmei saw his distress and hurriedly said. You don't have to worry about money. The most important thing is to cure the old man's illness. Feng Xinyang stated. Feng Yong hurriedly nodded his head and patted his chest saying, "Boss, your grandpa is my grandpa. How much money do you need? I'll ask my dad to give it to you." Tang Zheng looked at the several people and shook his head saying, "I'll think of a way to get the money. Thank you everyone for your kindness." He knew that his family only had 20,000 yuan and this was the savings of the two of them. But hospitalization was a bottomless pit. He did not know how long this 20,000 yuan would last, but he did not want to accept other people's gifts. He believed that he would be able to get through this difficult time. Seeing that he had made up his mind, no one tried to persuade him. A moment later, Tang Jing finished the hospitalization procedures. Tang Dehai's anesthetic had also worn off. He woke up and unconsciously shouted, "Little Zheng did not break the law. Little Zheng was wrongly accused. Grandpa, I'm fine." Tang Zheng held his hand tightly. Tang Dehai opened his eyes and exclaimed, "Little Zheng, am I not dreaming? The police said you broke the law and arrested you. Grandpa, this is all a misunderstanding. It's fine." Tang Zheng explained. Tang Dehai let out a sigh of relief and said, "I was just saying how could my grandson break the law? It must be a mistake. It's good that you're fine. Why am I in the hospital? Grandpa, you just fainted." "I'm fine. Let's go home. This hospital costs too much money." Tang Dehai struggled to get up but was held down by Tang Jing. "Grandpa, your body has not fully recovered. The doctor said that you should stay a few more days for observation." "My body is fine. Why would I stay in the hospital? It's a waste of money." Tang Dehai waved his hand and said with heartache, "Old man, just listen to the doctor." Feng Xinyang also advised. Only then did Tang Dehai notice that there were other people in the room. He looked at these strangers in astonishment. Tang Jing introduced them. "Grandpa, these are my teachers and classmates. I've troubled you guys too much," Tang Dehai said with embarrassment. "Old man, you should take care of your body. Don't think about anything else. This way, Tang Jing can focus on his studies, right?" Lu Qingmei kindly advised. Tang Dehai hesitated for a moment, looked at everyone and said, "I'm really fine. This is an old problem." "It's not a problem. Grandpa, just listen to me this time. There's no room for discussion," Tang Jing firmly said. Tang Dehai stared at him for a while and sighed. He had no choice but to compromise. "Old man, we'll go back first. Tang Jing, if you need anything just give us a call." The others said their goodbyes. "Little Zheng, you send everyone off," Tang Dehai said. Tang Jing sent them off to the elevator. Lu Qingmei pulled Tang Jing to the side and said, "Tang Jing, as soon as the police have news, I'll inform you. If you want to harm my student, I definitely won't agree. You can rest assured." "Thank you Teacher Lu, I want to take a few days off." "Sure, take good care of your grandpa." After sending them off, Tang Jing returned to the room. He already had a plan. His current priority was to cultivate and find the heaven-fragrant flower. This was why he asked for leave. However, he could not tell his grandpa, otherwise he would definitely not agree. He planned to cultivate at night and search for the heaven-fragrant flower during the day. Tang Jing returned home and paid the deposit. He then chatted with his grandpa. He insisted on staying and waited for his grandpa to fall asleep before impatiently cultivating. There were 2 other patients in the room. It was not convenient for him to meditate and cultivate. Just as he was worrying about this, Tian Chanzi told him that he did not need to meditate to cultivate. As long as he was calm and wholeheartedly immersed in it, it would be fine. He was overjoyed as he sat on a chair. Not long after, he entered a meditative state and began to cultivate the ancient clear heaven scroll. Ordinary balance mountain. Tang Zheng brought a rope early in the morning to the back of the mountain. Looking at the endless cliff, he tied the rope to his body and slowly moved down the mountain. The sun had already risen to the middle of the sky, but he did not stop. It was as if he did not know exhaustion as he searched the cliff for traces of the heaven-fragrant flower. Tian Chanzi did not have the heart to discourage him. This kind of aimless search was no different from looking for a needle in a haystack. Moreover, based on his experience, there should not be any heaven-fragrant flower unless there was a miracle. Hoo-hoo, the mountain wind whistled, blowing the rope up. Tang Zheng swayed with the wind as he hurriedly grabbed onto a rock to stabilize himself. The rope came to an end. He had already descended more than 300 meters. The bottom of the mountain was filled with a thin layer of fog. He could only see a few meters ahead. The sun was setting in the west. He climbed back to the top of the mountain. He decided to bring a longer rope tomorrow. This was his only choice. He also knew that the hope was slim, but he could not give up. If he gave up, it would mean that his grandfather would die. He absolutely could not allow this to happen. He returned to the hospital and just happened to run into Feng Yong. "Boss, you didn't go to school today. You don't know that the school is in chaos. It's all about you." Tang Jing frowned. He stared at the wound on his forehead and asked, "What happened to you?" "I accidentally bumped into it," Feng Yong said hesitantly. "Nonsense, this is clearly not a bump." "What happened?" Tang Zhang's face sank. "It was Takashi who hit me." Takashi, why did he hit you?" Feng Yong's face turned red. He said with shame, "Boss, I am useless. Takashi said that you are a rapist in school. I argued with him and then we fought. I am not his opponent. I have lost face for you. Takashi. Tang Zhang's eyes were about to spit fire. Feng Yong, thank you. Boss, this is what I should do. I only hate that I am not his opponent. Otherwise I would have beaten him until his teeth fell out. This day will come. Don't worry." Tang Zhang's heart moved. After refining the life-continuing pill, he could organize a set of martial arts to teach Feng Yong. Feng Yong heard this and his eyes lit up. He nodded and said, "Boss, right now there is a group of people in school who do not know right from wrong. They are all slandering you. They are saying that you have no face to face everyone, so you are hiding and not going to class. Let them talk. There is no need to pay attention to these clowns." Tang Zhang said indifferently. "Listening to these makes me angry. But wait a few days until your grandfather is better. When you go back, these rumors will be dispelled." Tang Zhang did not take it to heart. He said a few more words to Feng Yong and then returned to the ward to accompany his grandfather. The next day, he once again came to ordinary Balance Mountain. This time he prepared a 500-meter-long rope. He was like Spider-Man as he casually descended to yesterday's position. He did not stop and continued to descend. A moment later, he descended another 100 meters. "Stop!" Suddenly, Tian Chanzi shouted. Tang Zhang was shocked and hurriedly stopped. "What's wrong? Is there a demonic aura?" "Demonic aura? Could there be a demon?" Tian Chanzi said in a deep voice, "In the myriad of worlds, there are not only humans. There are also demons and demons. The demons are humans who practice evil techniques. The demons are all living things that have gained intelligence and are able to use magic." If it was before, Tang Zheng would definitely not believe that there were demons in this world. But now that he was a cultivator, he immediately accepted it and said, "I am only a first-grade refining chi cultivator. Am I a demon's opponent? I don't know. This demonic aura is not strong, but it cannot be underestimated. If you go back the way you came, there is still time." Chapter 24. Tang Jing descended another 10 meters. The fog in front of him was getting thicker and thicker. He could only see 3 meters in front of him. Suddenly, a fishy smell assaulted his nose. Tian Chanzi shouted to be careful. Tang Jing hurriedly dodged to the side, only to see a red shadow brushing past him. Snake! He saw it clearly. This was a snake half a meter long. Its whole body was red, as if it was dyed in blood. Crimson snake. Tian Chanzi exclaimed, "It has already gained intelligence and is already a monster. You must be careful, its venom is fatal. As long as you are bitten by it, you will definitely die. Also, this crimson snake knows illusions. Don't treat anything you see as real." Illusions. This was the first time Tang Jing heard of this technique. Little brat, it seems that I was wrong this time. The crimson snake and the heaven fragrant flower are companions. Places with crimson snake usually have heaven fragrant flower. This place with thin spirit qi actually gave birth to the heaven fragrant flower. How strange. Tang Jing was overjoyed. Are you sure? Of course I am sure, but you must first pass through this crimson snake. Tang Jing stared at the crimson snake like a tiger watching its prey. It also stared at Tang Jing, continuously spitting out its scarlet tongue. Its body was bent like a bow. So, the crimson snake shot up, straight towards Tang Jing. Tang Jing readied himself for action, and displayed the heaven-gathering hand. Suddenly, he realized that there was no crimson snake in front of him. Instead, a beauty was pouncing towards him. She first looked like Yi Ding Dang, then turned into Fang Shishir, and finally, she turned into Lu Qingmei. Little brat, this is an illusion. Don't be fooled. Tian Chanzi's voice was as loud as a bell. All of a sudden, Tang Jing was pulled back from the illusion. He hurriedly circulated his true qi to keep his mind clear. The illusion disappeared, revealing the true body of the scarlet chain snake. Tang Jing stretched out his hand and grabbed the scarlet chain snake 7 inches. The scarlet chain snake struggled, but it was unable to escape from Tang Jing's palm. The crimson drill snake's strongest point was its illusions. However, Tang Jing managed to block it. The crimson drill snake was caught off guard and was instantly captured. Quick, cut open its abdomen and take out its inner core. This is good for you. Tian Chanzi said impatiently. Raising his hand, Tang Jing used the dagger that he always carried with him to cut open the scarlet drill snake's abdomen. A fingernail-sized blood-red nightin rolled out. He hurriedly caught it and threw away the scarlet drill snake's corpse. The inner core was sparkling and translucent, quietly resting in his palm, glowing. The inner core is the most important part of a monster. It is the center of its power. If you take it, it can increase your true qi and raise your cultivation. Tang Jing was overjoyed. He hurriedly swallowed it. The inner core did not have any fishy smell. Instead, it had a light fragrance. He felt a hot flow of qi explode from his stomach. Then, it flowed through his 8 extraordinary meridians. He hurriedly suppressed the joy in his heart. He continued to descend in search of the heaven-fragrant flower. 3 meters away, a bright flower was fluttering in the wind. It was especially eye-catching. Heaven-fragrant flower. Tang Jing recognized it with a single glance. Little brat, your luck is not bad. This is the heaven-fragrant flower. Quickly pick it and place it in the box. Tang Jing opened the wooden box that he prepared in advance. He carefully picked the heaven-fragrant flower and placed it inside. The heaven-fragrant flower's shelf life was 3 months. If he picked it now, it would not affect the medicinal properties of the heaven-fragrant flower. He once again searched around. There were no other strange flowers or plants. There were no more monsters. He was satisfied as he once again climbed back to the top of the mountain. Boom! His feet swayed and he almost fell off the cliff. The chi in his body was in a mess. He felt a sense of crisis as if his body was about to explode. Little brat, the inner core's medicinal properties are taking effect. Quickly refine it. Otherwise, if your chi continues to run amok, your body will explode and you will die. Tang Jing did not dare to neglect. He hurriedly closed his eyes and operated the ancient clear heaven scroll. Bit by bit, he refined the inner core's medicinal properties. After an unknown amount of time, the violet medicinal properties were completely refined by him. His chi once again calmed down. The chi in his 9 main meridians had increased to 2 inches. He had broken through to the 2nd grade refining chi. The circulation of his chi had sped up. A single inner core had increased his chi by almost an inch. Wouldn't that mean that if he ate 2 more inner cores, he would be able to break through to the 3rd grade refining chi? Little brat, stop daydreaming. How could there be so many inner cores? The scarlet drill snake was too weak. If you met a strong monster, you would be lucky if you didn't get eaten. Tian Chanzi immediately poured a bucket of cold water on him. Tang Zhang let out a sigh of disappointment. This kind of opportunity could only be encountered and not sought after. Proper cultivation was the right path. You haven't absorbed any purine chi for the past 2 days, yet your chi suddenly increased. Did you notice anything strange? Tian Chanzi asked. Tang Zhang's heart moved. He hurriedly operated his chi, causing the circulation of his chi to increase. Moreover, there was a dry and hot feeling that seemed to be burning his body. His expression slightly changed as he heard Tian Chanzi say, "Did you feel it? I said before that the 9 yang saint body is a very strong physique." However, when things reach an extreme, they will move in the opposite direction. The stronger your chi is, the more dangerous it will be for you if you don't have the purine chi to balance it. Tang Zhang's back was drenched in cold sweat as he said, "I will go to school tomorrow and absorb the purine chi to balance it out." Tian Chanzi strangely laughed. "Hi hey, little brat, if you chase after those girls, at least you won't have to worry about not having purine chi for a short period of time. Moreover, once and for all, it will be much faster than you secretly absorbing purine chi. Why don't you listen to my advice?" Tang Jing didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Yi Dingdang, Fang Shishir, and Lu Qingmei, which one of them wasn't the center of attention? They were proud daughters of the heavens. How could he chase after them just because he wanted to? However, Tian Chanzi's words reminded him that if he chose one of them as his girlfriend, it would be a good idea. It would greatly help in alleviating the danger of the 9 yang saint body. Let's first refine the life-continuing pill and save grandfather before thinking about these things. He shook his head and temporarily threw this charming thought to the back of his mind. Little brat, refining the pill will take 1 day. Therefore, you must reach the 3rd grade refining chi within the next 11 days. Do you understand? Tian Chanzi reminded him. Tang Zhang's head sank. If he didn't have a niden or enough purine chi to reach the 3rd grade refining chi in 11 days, it would be harder than ascending to the heavens. However, he did not give up and said, "I will continue to work hard in my cultivation." Have you noticed that your cultivation speed has slowed down a bit these past few days? Tian Chanzi asked. Tang Zhang was silent. Apart from the first few days of rapid progress, his cultivation speed had now returned to normal. Of course, it was still faster than the average person. Tian Chanzi, is there really no other way? Tian Chanzi was silent for a long time before saying, "Cultivation is like sailing against the current. If you don't advance, then you will fall behind. Moreover, you must apply what you have learned in order to complement each other and increase your strength. The best way to do this is through actual combat. Through actual combat you will gain more comprehension. This is also a way to increase your cultivation speed. In the past, the sects would organize disciples to go down the mountain and train. This is to increase their cultivation through actual combat. Actual combat. Tang Zhang's eyes lit up. Right, this is indeed a shortcut, but you currently don't have the qualifications. I can find Yi Dingdang to spar. Her strength is higher than mine, so she should be able to help me break through. This is indeed a good method. Within the sects, there will be competitions between disciples to verify what they have learned. However, this is only under normal circumstances. You are currently in an extreme situation. If you want to break through in such a short period of time, it must be a test of life and death. Only a life and death battle can stimulate your greatest comprehension. A life and death battle. Don't tell me I have to find someone to risk my life. Even if I had this idea, I still wouldn't be able to find such a person. Tang Jing thought dejectedly. Tian Chanzi had no choice but to persuade him, there is always a way out. Let's see if there is any other way later. Tang Jing returned to the hospital. As soon as he stepped out of the elevator, he was stopped by the nurse at the nurse's station. She said that the hospitalization fee was almost used up. She asked him to pay the fee as soon as possible, or the medicine would be stopped. Spending money like running water. Tang Jing frowned. His family's savings of 20,000 yuan were almost used up these days. If there was no money, his grandfather would have to be discharged. No, I have to make money in addition to cultivation. But when he thought of making money, he was in a daze. He used to follow his grandfather to pick up junk, but it was all accumulated bit by bit. There was no way to make enough money in a short period of time. He didn't have that much time and energy. This night, he cultivated while thinking about how to make money. Until dawn, he still couldn't think of a way. Did he really have to borrow money from others? He didn't have any relatives in ordinary Balan City. If he wanted to borrow money, he could only borrow from Lu Qingmei or Feng Yong. But unless it was a last resort, he didn't want to reach out to others. After 2 days, he came to school again. When he appeared at the school gate, he attracted the attention of countless people. Many people laughed contemptuously. As if there was no one around, they said that it was better to find a prostitute than to rape. Some people said that he was poor and definitely didn't have the money to find a prostitute, so he went to rape. It was really shameful. Tang Jing pretended not to hear. He didn't want to lower himself to the level of these clowns. He walked quickly to the classroom, sat in the last row, and closed his eyes to rest. Tang Jing, why are you here? Yi Dingdang looked at him in surprise. I finished my business, so I came to class. How is your grandfather? A little better. Tang Jing nodded gratefully. That's good. Heaven helps the worthy. Feng Yong also came over to warmly greet him and said, Boss, you finally came. There is someone who has been extremely arrogant these past few days. Moreover, he has been talking nonsense. Let's see what he will do now. Fatty Feng, you're itching for a beating, right? You're shouting and yelling again. Takashi walked in and shouted from afar. Suddenly, he saw Tang Zhang and his voice came to an abrupt stop. It was as if someone was strangling his neck. His face became extremely ugly. Tang Zhang stood up and stared at Takashi and said, Takashi, I heard that you've been very arrogant recently. Takashi's face flushed red and said, Tang Zhang, you're talking nonsense. Hang, is it me talking nonsense or is it you who is talking nonsense? Everyone is well aware that the wound on Feng Yong's forehead was caused by you. Immediately apologize to him or else you'll have to bear the consequences. Tang Jing coldly said. Tang Jing, this is a school. Don't mess around or else you won't be able to bear the consequences. Takashi said sternly. Tang Jing disdainfully snorted and strode toward Takashi. Chapter 25. Takashi subconsciously retreated with a panicked look on his face. Seeing this, the others looked as if they were watching a good show. Feng Yong was overwhelmed with emotions. His boss stood up for him. He was almost moved to tears. In the past, no one had ever stood up for him. When he was bullied, he could only swallow it. Yidingdang's eyes lit up. She looked at Tang Jing with interest. Takashi retreated to the wall. With nowhere to retreat, he quickly said, "Sister Dingdang, save me." Yidingdang coldly looked at him and said, "What does this have to do with me?" Takashi was speechless. In the past, he had always followed Yidingdang blindly. But Yidingdang never said that he was her follower. "Tang Jing, you dare to hit me. Be careful you don't get expelled." Tang Jing was startled and stopped. Takashi proudly smiled. He thought that he had grasped Tang Jing's weak point. But in the next second, he knew that he was wrong. Tang Jing coldly smiled and said, "Using this to threaten me, you are too inexperienced." When his voice fell, he was already in front of Takashi. Bang! He punched out. Takashi felt his internal organs tumble. He immediately fell to the ground. He continuously sucked in cold air. He couldn't even scream. The others were shocked. This was the first time they saw Tang Jing. When he attacked, they were all shocked. Takashi was tall and strong. He was the best fighter in Class 7 besides Yidingdang. No one was not afraid of him. Many people had been bullied by him. Seeing Takashi's battered and exhausted appearance, they immediately felt relieved. "Boss, good job. Boss, #1 in the world." Feng Yong's face was flushed red. He loudly shouted and clapped. Clap, clap, clap. The applause gradually rose, and the others followed suit. The applause became louder and louder, and in the end, the whole class was boiling with applause. Takashi was lying on the ground, gritting his teeth. The applause was like a sharp sword piercing into his heart. He swore to himself, "Just you wait. You think you can climb over my head with just Tang Jing? I will make you regret it." He took advantage of his tall stature and liked to tease and play tricks on others. Everyone's hearts were filled with anger. Tang Jing looked at Takashi with contempt. His popularity was really bad. Everyone actually disliked him. "What are you doing?" Lu Qingmei walked in. Seeing that everyone was applauding, she asked in a loud voice. The applause stopped abruptly. Takashi seemed to have grabbed onto a life-saving straw as he struggled to get up from the ground and complained, "Teacher Lu, Tang Jing hit me." Lu Qingmei looked at Tang Jing with astonishment. She then looked at Takashi. She clearly did not believe him. "Teacher, you have to believe me. He really hit me." Takashi wanted to cry but had no tears. He had never felt so sullen before. Takashi, stop messing around. How could Tang Jing hit you? You, on the other hand, I heard that you recently bullied your classmates again. Lu Qingmei's face was cold as she questioned. "I didn't." Takashi said with a guilty conscience. "If you dare to bully your classmates again, I will make you call your parents." Lu Qingmei said with a headache. She knew that Takashi was a mischievous student. If he did not bully others, he should be thanking the heavens. How could he be bullied by others? "Okay, let's go to class. Stop messing around." The others looked at Takashi with schadenfreude. You also have a day like this. Takashi bitterly sat back in his seat. The surrounding pairs of mocking eyes made him feel as if he was sitting on pins and needles. When the bell rang, he fled. He no longer had the face to sit in the classroom. Tang Zheng was called out by Lu Qingmei. He was told that the matter at the police station had come to a conclusion. The person involved, Lu Gang, knowingly broke the law and was fired. The woman said that she was ordered by Lu Gang and did not mention anyone else. Now she was also detained. Tang Zheng sneered at this result but did not express any opinions. He only thanked Lu Qingmei for her help. However, he did not think that this matter would end like this. He must find the person behind the scenes. The other party caused his grandfather to lose 10 days of life. This hatred must be avenged. On this day, Tang Zheng did not study. Instead, he seized the time to cultivate. He continuously absorbed Yidingdong's purine energy to harmonize the Jin Qi in his body. After a day, the burning sensation in his Jin Qi eased a lot. On the way back to the hospital, he kept thinking of ways to make money and improve his cultivation. However, he had no clue. Just as he walked to the hospital entrance, his phone rang. "Little brother, how have you been recently? Do you have time? Come to Brother Hu's place to play." Lin Hu asked in a clear voice. Tang Zheng did not expect Lin Hu to call. He refused. "Brother Hu, these days I'm a bit busy. I don't have time." Another day. AI, this time it's really fun. Boxing. I guarantee it will be exciting. You're also a martial artist, so I called you. Boxing. Yes, a martial artist confrontation. Watching others fight is also helpful for our own cultivation. Tang Zheng's heart moved and said, "Okay, I'll come." "When and where?" "Come to my Xingshi bar. I'll take you there." Tang Zheng returned to the hospital and told his grandfather that he had to go to a classmate's house to review his homework. Then he went straight to Xingshi bar. "Haha, little brother, you've come. Come, get in the car. This time I'll definitely open your eyes." Lin Hu enthusiastically pulled him into the car. In the car was Dong Zi and another person. He was around 30 years old. He was tall and majestic. As the car sped away, Lin Hu gave him an introduction. This time, they were going to watch an underground boxing match. It wasn't a formal boxing match, but because it was underground, it was even more brutal and exciting. There weren't many rules, and the only rule was to knock out the opponent. This kind of boxing competition was even more bloody and violent. Moreover, you could bet on it live. This attracted a lot of spectators, but only a certain circle of people would come in contact with it. And Lin Hu was one of these people. This big man was a fighter that Lin Hu specially invited. Tang Zheng had a general impression and said, "Then are the people in the competition all martial artists?" Of course they are martial artists. A fight between normal people is not interesting at all. How could it attract people? This is the fighter I invited. He is a first-grade refining body martial artist. Today I'm counting on him to win money, hi. Lin Hu said with satisfaction. The fighter proudly raised his head as if to say, "Just wait and see. Victory will definitely belong to me." The car stopped outside an abandoned factory in the suburbs. There were already many cars parked outside the factory. There were many henchmen standing outside, checking the people coming and going. Lin Hu was clearly a regular customer. The henchmen all greeted him and then they directly walked in. There was a hubbub of voices in the factory. The high-powered speakers were playing blood-boiling heavy metal rock music. There was a huge competition ring in the middle of the factory, surrounded by spectator stands and chairs. Many people were already seated. Yo, Lin Hu, you're here again. Last time you lost 500,000. You didn't get enough of it, right? How much are you going to lose this time? A 40-year-old man walked over surrounded by several people and jokingly said. Lin Hu's face became very ugly. He said in a deep voice, Boss Fan, this old man is here to make a comeback. How could I possibly lose? Don't lose until you don't even have your underwear left. That would be really pitiful. How could I possibly lose? This time I specially invited an expert to deal with your fighter. Who is your fighter this time? Him. Lin Hu pointed at the big man beside him and said. Boss Fan tilted his head and looked at the big man. He sneered and said, the peak of the first grade refining body. Soon to reach the second grade refining body. You are indeed stronger than last time's idiot. But no matter how strong you are still an idiot. Today you will definitely lose. You better prepare your money. Lin Hu angrily said, Boss Fan, don't boast too early. Be careful you don't bite your tongue. Hang, I want to see what realm your fighter is at today. Boss Fan laughed and mysteriously said, you will find out in a bit. I guarantee that you will be able to broaden your horizons. Hi hey. After saying this, he proudly walked away. Hey, what kind of thing is this? Lin Hu spat at his back. Brother who is this person? Tang Jing curiously asked. Qingnan's boss, Boss Fan. Last time my fighter fought with his fighter and lost 500,000. He was very proud of this and went around saying that I lost to him in an attempt to ruin my reputation. Lin Hu indignantly said. He is also a martial artist. Yes, he is a third-grade refining body. He is 1 grade higher than me. Tang Jing nodded. Tian Chanzi had already told him. But today he was a spectator. His main purpose was to observe and learn, so he didn't take it to heart. Several people chose their seats and sat down. The audience gradually increased. These people were a mix of crooks and honest people. Not only were there white-collar workers in suits, but there were also hooligans. Asterisk. Asterisk with the sound of a gong, all the voices disappeared. A young man in his 20s walked up to the ring leisurely. He looked around and said in a clear voice, Welcome everyone. Today, there will be a total of 3 exciting boxing matches. All 3 of the fighters are martial artists with profound strength, so these 3 matches will be very exciting. Later, you can bet on the fighters you like. I hope everyone will have a pleasant and unforgettable night. The show will begin soon. Applause thundered. Who is this person? Tang Jing curiously asked. Huang Xiang, the young master of the ordinary Balan City's Huang clan. He is also a martial artist. It is said that his strength is deep and unfathomable. But as to how strong he is, I cannot tell. Lin Hu introduced. 6th grade refining body. Tang Jing blurted out. See. 6th grade refining body. As expected of a large clan. 20-something years of cultivation is higher than our lifetime of cultivation. Lin Hu sucked in a breath of cold air and said with envy. Large clan. Little brother, you are not a person of this circle so you may not know. The Huang clan is a famous family of the underworld. They have been around for over 100 years. Don't think that I am doing well in the northern part of the city. Compared to the Huang clan, I am like an ant compared to an elephant. It is just that the Huang clan has been completely clean for the past few years. They have countless businesses under them. This underground boxing competition was organized by Huang Xiang on a whim. Otherwise, who do you think would have such a big face and divine ability to deal with both the underworld and the underworld, making everyone wholeheartedly convinced? Lin Hu explained. Tang Zheng was slightly shocked. This Huang clan actually had such a big background. He really was ignorant before. The first fight began. Two fighters walked onto the stage. With a clang, the gong sounded and the fight began. Chapter 26. Before the fight began, many people were placing bets on their favorite fighter's victory. The atmosphere of the arena gradually became lively as people continuously shouted and cheered. When the fight began, the two fighters were incomparably fierce. From the very beginning, they brought out all of their strength. Every punch landed on the opponent's body. Aren't they afraid of killing people in this kind of fight? Tang Jing curiously asked. Lin Hu chuckled and said, in such an intense fight, injuries and deaths are unavoidable. In the past, people have died but they were all settled. This is Huang Xiang's strength, the police didn't even come looking for trouble. Tang Jing nodded as he gained a new understanding of the Huang clan's strength. But in this kind of fight, injuries and disabilities are very common. That's why fighters are very hard to find. My fighter was hired with a large amount of money. How much? 50,000. Lin Hu extended his two hands. Normal fighters are easy to find, but there aren't many who are willing to risk their lives. After all, becoming a martial artist means that one's future is limitless. Not many people are willing to risk their lives for quick money. My fighter is an expert from a foreign dojo. Today, I am counting on him to be able to hold my head high. In reality, I don't care about the amount of money, I just want to fight for my pride. A first-grade refining martial artist is worth 50,000 for a fight. Tang Zheng was secretly speechless. A martial artist was really worth a lot of money. This is only a first-grade refining martial artist. If his cultivation was higher, he would naturally be worth more money. Huang Xiang has a fourth-grade refining martial artist who has already won 5 fights in a row. That's worth $1 million. That's a true expert. Lin Hu said enviously. Tang Jing concentrated on watching the fight. The two fighters' martial arts were simple and crude. They were like two robots, fist after fist colliding. The sounds of the collisions were like muffled thunder. It was especially clear amidst the tide of cheers and shouts. The fierceness in their fight is what I lack. In the future, I will inevitably meet a mortal enemy. I must also cultivate this kind of fierceness. Tang Jing seemed to have realized something. Pang! One fighter fell to the ground. The other fighter quickly rushed forward. Gotcha! The opponent's legs were broken at lightning speed. The winner was decided. With the sound of a gong, the competition was over. The winner raised his hands high and excitedly waved to the crowd, while the loser was dragged away like a dead dog, with no one paying any attention to him. The crowd burst into thunderous cheers. Some people cheered for winning money, while others cursed for losing money. The second match was exactly the same as the first. The winner was decided in about 10 minutes, but this time, the loser was beaten until he was on the verge of death. It was extremely miserable. The third match is between my fighter and Boss Fan's fighter. Lin Hu clenched his fists. His eyes were wide open as he stared at the battlefield. Obviously, he was also very nervous. When the boxer appeared on the stage, the audience went wild. Second-grade refining body martial artist. Lin Hu sucked in a breath of cold air. He stared fixedly at Boss Fan's fighter. He unconsciously looked in Boss Fan's direction and saw that Boss Fan was also looking at him. When their eyes met, Boss Fan's eyes were filled with ridicule and pride. Lin Hu flew into a rage. Fuck, where did Boss Fan find a second-grade refining body expert? Fuck, I originally thought that I would win this time, but now I don't have the chance. He lowered his head dejectedly after saying this. Other people with discerning eyes had already discovered the difference between the two fighters. They all placed their bets on Boss Fan's fighter to win. Immediately, the entire audience burst into cheers. This match was a sure win. It was simply giving away money. There was no suspense at all. "Boss, our 500,000 has gone down the drain," Dong Zi said dejectedly. 500,000 is a small matter. The key is that Boss Fan is going to be proud again. Seeing his proud face makes me unhappy, Lin Hu said in annoyance. Seeing this, Tang Zheng's heart moved. He said, "Brother Hu, how about I go up?" "You go up." Lin Hu was surprised. If Tang Zheng went up, then he would definitely win. "Yes, I'll go. Recently I've been in urgent need of money, so I want to earn some money," Tang Zheng said straightforwardly. If a boxer fought in a match, they would earn 50,000 yuan. This was enough to cover a portion of his grandfather's medical expenses. Moreover, fighting with opponents could increase one's comprehension and strengthen one's cultivation. This was killing two birds with one stone. Lin Hu's eyebrows raised in joy. He did not think that there would be such a pleasant surprise. "Are you sure?" Tang Zheng solemnly nodded his head. "Little brother, since you're going up, then it won't be 50,000 yuan. No matter who wins or loses, the 100,000 yuan will be yours," Lin Hu said excitedly. Of course, he believed that Tang Zheng would win. Tang Zheng was also secretly excited. The 100,000 yuan could alleviate his urgent need. Lin Hu immediately brought Tang Zheng to the rostrum to request for a change of fighters. Seeing this, Boss Fan hurriedly walked over and asked, "Lin Hu, what are you doing?" "Changing fighters." "Changing fighters." Boss Fan wrinkled his eyebrows and sneered, "Lin Hu, you can't be thinking of going up yourself, right?" "Hey, Huang Shao has set the rules. Us bosses cannot go up by ourselves. Of course I won't break Huang Shao's rules. Relax, it won't be me going up." "Then who will it be? Don't tell me you have other fighters." "Hang, I think you're just stalling for time. Don't make any pointless struggles. You'll definitely lose today," Boss Fan said confidently. "Don't boast too early. The good show is yet to come." Lin Hu directly walked in front of Huang Xiang and said, "Huang Shao, I'm requesting a change of fighters." Huang Xiang looked at him with interest and said, "Lin Hu, are you sure?" "I'm sure." "No problem. You can change fighters before the fight starts. This is the rule." "But who do you want to change?" Huang Xiang asked curiously. "I'll go." Tang Zheng stepped forward bravely. "You?" Huang Xiang and Boss Fan looked at him at the same time. Their eyes were filled with suspicion. From the outside, Tang Zheng was no different from an ordinary person. No matter how they looked at him, he didn't look like an expert. Lin Hu, I think you've gone crazy from losing. You actually found a weak child." Boss Fan snorted disdainfully. Huang Xiang's eyebrows were tightly knitted. He didn't believe that Lin Hu would be so stupid as to bring disgrace upon himself. But he couldn't see what was so special about Tang Zheng. This made him very suspicious. Lin Hu coldly snorted. Before, he also didn't believe that Tang Zheng was an expert. That was why he suffered a loss at his hands. This time, the other side repeated the same mistake and looked down on Tang Zheng. He wasn't angry, but rather happy. "Now you guys are rejoicing in my misfortune. Later on, you won't be able to laugh anymore. Let's see who's the real deal. Right now it's too early for you to say anything," Lin Hu disdainfully said. "Good, in a moment I'll make you accept your loss wholeheartedly. Hey, last time you bet 500,000. How much are you going to bet this time?" 1 million. Boss Fan wildly laughed. Lin Hu, since you want to give me money, then I won't refuse. Hi hey, I dare say that this little brat won't be able to last 3 minutes before being beaten down by my fighter. Little brat, it's still not too late for you to back out. Otherwise, if you lose an arm or a leg, the rest of your life will be ruined. It'll be too late for regrets. What's with all this nonsense? Tang Zheng cast a sidelong glance at him and coldly said. Boss Fan was suddenly startled and then flew into a rage. Ever since he became famous, very few people dared to speak to him like this. He gnashed his teeth and stared at Tang Zheng, saying, Little brat, just you wait. You'll spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair. Huang Xiang didn't say a word as he silently watched both sides. Especially Tang Zheng. The confidence that was being emitted from his opponent's body made him quite puzzled. This wasn't arrogance and conceit, but a feeling that victory was within his grasp. The corners of his mouth rose as he said, Hee hee, I didn't think that today's match would be more exciting than I expected. Very good, then I'll look forward to your exciting performance. Tang Zheng walked towards the ring. His opponent looked at him and disdainfully said, A little brat dares to come and compete. He's really looking for his own death. Tang Zheng didn't mind as he smiled. Boss Fan angrily ordered, In a moment, beat him until half his body is paralyzed. Let him know this daddy's strength. Boss Fan, don't worry. I'll definitely complete the mission. The fighter rubbed his fists, eager to give it a try. Lin Hu said in a low voice, Little brother, you have to be careful. The audience discovered that the fighter had suddenly changed and they all stared at Tang Zheng in astonishment. When they heard someone say that Tang Zheng was just a normal person, everyone revealed a shocked expression. For a normal person to fight a martial artist was simply sending themselves to their deaths. Those who had originally bet on Lin Hu began to curse one after another, saying that they would refund their money and that they wouldn't bet anymore. This level of confrontation was simply not worth watching and there was no chance of victory. Betting on Lin Hu was simply giving away their money. The other spectators who had bet on Boss Fan were all shouting in excitement. In everyone's eyes, this was practically a sure win. At this time, the factory was filled with a boiling cauldron of voices and curses. There were even people who directly told Tang Zheng to get off the stage. Tang Zheng turned a deaf ear to them and only stared at his opponent. His opponent's aura was very strong, but compared to Lin Hu he was still a bit lacking. Even Lin Hu was defeated by him, so how could he be afraid of this opponent? Little brat, you don't have the chance to escape. Obediently kneel down and kowtow to admit defeat and I can let you suffer less. The opponent proudly shouted. Tang Zheng snorted and said, You should be the one kneeling down and admitting defeat. Perhaps I can let you lose a bit more easily. F***ck, boasting shamelessly. This daddy won't be polite. The fighter fiercely attacked, his huge fist was like a shooting star as he wildly rushed forward. Tang Zheng dodged and easily avoided this attack. The fighter was shocked but did not take it to heart. His attack suddenly became fierce and violent like a violent storm. Tang Zheng was like a small boat in the middle of a torrent that could be submerged at any time. However, this small boat seemed to have an endless amount of magic. The torrent of attacks fell upon him but he remained motionless like a boulder. Could a normal person easily dodge the attacks of a second-grade refining martial artist twice in a row? The answer was obvious, no. But Tang Zheng was able to do it. Was he still a normal person? Of course not. The curses came to an abrupt end as pairs of eyes uniformly fell on Tang Zheng's body. He had become the center of attention on the stage. Boss Fan sat up straight. His expression became serious as he stared at Tang Zheng. Lin Hu's face revealed a proud expression. This was within his expectations. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.